as we head into the first pistol. So buys coming through. Calix will go for the kit. AVANGAR will just have the one set of nades for this first round. And here we go. AVANGAR starting on the T side. And Space Soldiers going for this boost over towards B and some aggression out towards mid. Now, however, Engine and Xantares will decide to fall back. So AVANGAR will be able to make some ground towards the A side. See, they're going to push towards bathrooms and a little bit of damage done to Prison, but it's Kikert who gets the opening kill. Quite long range there with the Glock, but Xantares does get picked off. And now Space Soldiers going for a bit of a rotation up towards A. They're going to leave 2 towards A, 2 towards B, and Engine straight up takes that fight towards A long to bring it back to an even position. A 4 versus 4 now. It looks as though AVANGAR are going to go back towards the B bomb site. Space Soldiers playing very passively towards B as well. So considering James still has a smoke, this could be a fairly easy take if the flash and smoke are on point. And here we go, AVANGAR are going to come forwards. The boost is here, so the smoke won't be a factor. But Calix can't really get too much done, so the bomb crosses to the site, and Prison gets another headshot. They're going to push their way forwards, and Space Soldiers are all in towards similar positions, and Kikert lines up the wall bang, taking down Major, who'd already been dinked down low. 2v3 retake now, and AVANGAR are taking some close-range fights with these Glocks. This is exactly what they wanted. Push comes in, and Space Soldiers, they're just out in the open, and James will hunt them down. A double kill for him, and AVANGAR coming out to a strong start here, taking that first pistol round. And a pretty nice adaptation to go back towards B. And as soon as they got towards the site, a 4v4 retake was always going to be difficult for Space Soldiers, and they don't get it done. So heading into round 2, Space Soldiers, as you would expect, going for the upgraded pistols. AVANGAR, though, are very ready for this one. They've gone for 3 AKs. I think they just want to make sure they certainly don't lose against the pistols here. And this is something I like from AVANGAR. I think it does show the respect towards Space Soldiers. They obviously know Space Soldiers are a very skilled team. There's no need to take a risk in this round. The last thing AVANGAR wants is to lose this force and then be on the back foot. They really want to get off to this strong start here on Overpass. And it looks like they should be able to do so, because at least at the start of the round, we haven't really seen too much damage done. In fact, no fights coming in thus far. However, now the AKs are going to try and fight towards A long. Engine was there with the scout, but Buster just taps off his head. And Crescent finds a close range engagement with the ump. So AVANGAR, again, not anything too crazy there, but just doing what they needed to get the 2-man advantage. And with 40 seconds left, they're going to slowly but surely work their way up bathrooms. Ooh, I think Paz's gun barrel was spotted. Doesn't get taken down, and Paz replies with a couple of shots. Ooh, there's a quick headshot for Paz. Gets a second. Eventually, though, Buster comes in to clean things up on the A site. And Calix is the only man left. He should be heard, and James will likely take him down. Ooh, just about wins the fight, surviving on 3 HP. And AVANGAR, again, look quite convincing for their second round win. Good start for the majority Kazakh lineup. Looks like Space Soldiers just going to have 5 USPs and the 1 flashbang. Flash has already been thrown out, and they're going to go aggressive out towards A. I think AVANGAR are quite ready for this, and you can already see AVANGAR have responded by pushing through towards B. There goes Buster, finding a quick headshot. Doesn't want to stick around for too long here, because he could risk giving up his AK. You see, Buster might be taken down. Indeed, Xantares finishes him off. In the meantime, though, the rest of AVANGAR look to close out the round, although Kikert struggling a little bit, but eventually gets those kills he needed. So AVANGAR, as expected, take the 3-0 lead. However, here comes an early test for their gun round, because Space Soldiers will have rifles in hand. Looks like they aren't going to quite get the defuse kit. Their utility is looking okay. However, it's not a great buy for Space Soldiers. There's also no AWP in play, which is a slight issue. Either way, AVANGAR also don't have the AWP on their side, so it's mostly rifles to work with, and Kicker going very aggressive there. Doesn't quite spot anyone out early on, and he decides to go passive afterwards. In the meantime, Space Soldiers, they haven't gone for any massive aggression early on. Major was kind of thinking of a peek in towards B short, and that might happen now because Calix is alongside him. Indeed, they go aggressive, and they're certainly making steps, but Calix still wins that fight. Kritzen was up close. He could be able to get the trade here. Indeed, catches Calix out in the open. I don't think Calix quite realized that he was exposed there. So an even trade early on. After Calix gets the first kill, it gets counteracted. And with 55 seconds left, AVANGAR do have time to work with. They have a little bit of utility left. Still certainly a decent position for them, but Demasik, trying to work his way through Monster, gets caught out in the open himself. And now it looks as though AVANGAR are just going to be focused towards the A site, where Xantares is positioned. And he will win that first duel. That was an important fight to win as well, because now Jame with the bomb cannot get towards the site without finding a frag or two. 28 seconds, here comes the push. AVANGAR gonna look for a frag, but Xantares again in position. I think that was a fake flash with the USP, and he manages to get his gun out in time for the headshot. So Xantares is gonna get the 3 kills on the A hold. AVANGAR do still have the buy and an AWP for Jame, so they won't be too disheartened. However, a good hold for Xantares. That's what Space Soldiers would have been looking for. Just make sure they win that first gun round and make sure that they sort of don't fall too far behind early on. That's exactly what they've done. Ooh, Calix again getting aggressive. Gets the 1 kill before the trade comes in. Again, it's Krissen in position. He's down on 5 HP though. So certainly Space Soldiers winning in the health department, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade. Demasik also was forced to fall back after taking a little bit of damage. Seems like Xantares is going to anchor that A site for the most part. You saw there 3 players rotated down towards B, and it's Xantares stuck towards A. Having to solo hold the A site could be a little bit awkward for him here. He's got to watch towards A long and bathrooms. It doesn't look like he will be tested. With a minute left, for the time being, AVANGAR are still outside B, waiting patiently. Paz is going to get flashed in, takes the first. Oh, the spray comes in, and Paz just goes huge. 3 kills so quickly, and AVANGAR just get absolutely demolished by Paz. It was just a simple flash in for the peak. And yet it works so incredibly well. And Paz, gets the 4th. Another flashbang in. And Paz just goes off. He even gets to save the AWP. That was such a well-played round from Space Soldiers. Again, nothing particularly crazy. Just a simple flashbang for a peak. But it's simple and still effective for Space Soldiers. Now heading into round 6, AVANGAR have got 1 player buying up the AK, but the rest of the team can't really afford the same. Only pistols for a few of the players. So we'll get to see if Kickert can do the damage. He has got that first kill out towards B. That was Calix again going aggressive, and Kickert gets a second kill. So all of a sudden, this round could be competitive. Space Soldiers stuck down in a 3 versus 5, and 1 of the AKs will be recovered. Watch comes in. Paz again tries to force the fights, but he gets picked off. So AVANGAR just winning the fights with the AKs, finding the headshots. And now Space Soldiers are stuck with only Xantares and Engine to try and win this round. They are on towards the B site, and Krissen will get caught off guard, so a couple of kills come through. Engine now the only man left. The AWP in hand. Oh, gets that second kill, but Kickert overwhelms him. That was still incredibly close. And Space Soldiers might still be able to scrape a force together. Indeed, they decide it is worth the buy. It's not going to be a full purchase, but Major has the AWP alongside a couple of rifles. It's a little bit of a shame that Major has to pick up the AWP, but I think that should be fine. He's certainly shown in the past that he can use this weapon. without the Kevlar, going to be a little more difficult. Either way, AVANGAR, again, it was Kicker going in for the early aggression. He got the 2 opening kills in the previous round. And that smoke doesn't quite land, I don't think, where they wanted it to. However, AVANGAR will look to make their way up towards the bathrooms. A little bit of a slow start to this round. AVANGAR generally go for a fair amount of aggression early on their T side, but this time around, they have been holding back somewhat. Now, however, they're making their way up A long, slowly but surely creeping forwards. Engine only gets the 1 kill. And the push towards A-Long works very well for AVANGAR, but it's still down to a 3v3. It's because Paz was here, but he gets caught off guard. And now the A site looking very, very open. Calix has rotated up, but with only the CZ, he cannot do enough. And Major will be forced to try to save this AWP. So Space Soldiers are going to concede a fair few rounds early on here. I think if AVANGAR want a chance in this series, this is exactly how they had to start it off. Especially on a map where Space Soldiers haven't necessarily had the best results in the past. I think that's why AVANGAR picked it. This is exactly what they would have been hoping for. A slow start from Space Soldiers, and AVANGAR certainly looking good so far. However, I feel like as the game goes on, Space Soldiers certainly could warm up into this one. So still plenty of rounds left to be played, of course. Either way, guys, while we have just some saving going on and Space Soldiers not investing into this next round, I'm going to quickly go ahead and mention the giveaway we currently have running here on eFrag. If you subscribe to the channel here on Twitch, you will be entered into the giveaway and you can win a Flip Knife Blue Steel Field Tested. Pretty nice knife, and you can't complain about having the chance to win it. It's a really nice thing to have. So if you want to subscribe on this Twitch channel, the draw will be on Sunday. And speaking of, well, opening kills, Major's going to get that one up towards mid. He's the only player with the AWP. Yeah, as I was saying, the draw will happen on Sunday, so subscribe on Twitch if you want to win that. And as we head back into the action, Major is going to try and switch up his position with this AWP. Remember, Space Soldiers mostly only have that AWP to work with in this round, so he wants to try and get as much of the action as possible. So now he's gone back towards that B bomb site. And surprisingly, Major is still getting aggressive. He clearly wants to get another pick. Probably not such a bad idea, to be honest. He's going to try and get it done, but Kicker up towards Monster gets the opening entry. Taras is rotating down connector, and he will catch a man in the back. There's a frag for him. The Kicker keeps on going. A second kill on the entrance. Still back down to a 2v2, though. Kicker could be a little bit exposed, but Buster nails the shot, and Kicker does close it out. Solid triple kill for him as AVANGAR take a 6-2 lead. Space Soldiers, though, did some damage in that round. And here we go, into round 9, they finally have a buy again on their side. Taras with the nade in towards mid, doesn't quite connect. And we've seen Space Soldiers, for the most part, play A this way up until this point. They've gone for a little bit of contention early on and then just decided to fall back in towards bathrooms. But this time, there's a slight difference. They've gone for the boost over this smoke, and Xantares might get caught. It's Buster who does go down first, but the spray through the smoke does find a trade. So surprisingly enough, that will work the way of AVANGAR. A 1-for-1 trade, not too bad. It's unfortunate that Xantares is the man who's picked off, but nonetheless, Space Soldiers will just have to work with what they have left. And again, AVANGAR taking quite a slow style here on Overpass. They have a decent amount of utility left, and with 50 seconds, they're going to slowly work their way towards this A bomb site. Surprisingly, they're all going to go in towards A long, which is a bit of a risk. As Engine takes a flash from his teammate. That was a little awkward, and Demasic doesn't get that opening kill. It's Kicker who just about finds the trade. Prison now will go in first and claim that kill. That was a really important frag to find because it completely opens up the bomb site. Prison is continuing to try and hold things off, and considering the position Space Soldiers are in, I don't know how much they can do. Calyx is getting boosted up. This might work to catch Prison off guard. He goes for the peek, and Calyx wins the fight, but takes a lot of damage in the process. And you can see Space Soldiers without the defuse kit, they just don't have the time here. AVANGAR are going to keep their win streak going. 4-round wins in a row. And this is starting to look a little bit dangerous for Space Soldiers. Remember, this is the first map of the series, so they won't be too worried just yet. However, AVANGAR certainly have come out strong here on Overpass. Even though we said it's not necessarily a great map for them, it's also a slightly weak map for Space Soldiers. So if AVANGAR put in a little bit of work, this might be a nice little pocket pick. And it's working well so far. Either way, round 10, and yet again, the Turks are forced down to a lackluster buy. Only the one rifle saved on towards Calyx, as well as a UMP saved by Major. And the rest of the players can only afford to go for pistols. Just taking a quick look at the scoreboard as well. For AVANGAR, it's Kickert currently leading the way. He's been pretty good so far in this tournament, but it's really, I think, been Jame and Buster who have been doing most of the damage. So it's a little bit surprising to see him at the top, but he's doing a great job so far. 13 kills, only 3 deaths. And AVANGAR are going to lean back towards that B site. With a little over a minute left on the clock, Krizen might be going in first. He's been, for the most part, the entry, but Kickert decides to take the point here, and with good reason. His aim has been looking crisp. And he gets that opening kill. There's a second frag coming through. And those 2 kills should effectively open up the B bomb site as, well, another frag comes out. Jame with the AWP quick on the trigger. That's the rifle dropped out of the hands of Calyx. We'll get to see if that can be recovered. It might just be worth saving that M4 at this point. And it looks as though they will just try to save what they can. I think Major should be able to get the rifle. Oh, no, wait, that was a different player dying, so I'm not sure they can actually recover that M4 that was dropped out of the round. Either way, Major holding off. AVANGAR are going to try and keep themselves safe, but Major is here. There's a quick kill for him. 1 AK lost for AVANGAR, but Major won't be able to pick it up. Which might come out, but AVANGAR don't need to hunt Major down if they don't want to. And it looks as though they will go for the molly, but it doesn't quite land. That's unfortunate. Major almost certainly would have died if the molly was successful, but not this time around. And so AVANGAR take the 8-2 lead. But back to a buy for Space Soldiers.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent one. I'm not sure how it's been going so far in terms of the buys for them. Of course, I have only returned, but the only real weakness that they have is that the UMP onto Major rather than the M4. But overall, it is decent. AVANGAR right now, 8-2 on the T side of Overpass is a pretty solid scoreline to lead by. So let's see what Space Soldiers are going to be able to do and try and actually bring this one back. Major looks to try and maybe get a bit aggressive, and that's actually going to work out in his favor. He takes down Kickert, and he should be able to fall back off quite easily, but for now he seems to be just sticking around. That could get a bit dangerous if AVANGAR decide to re-aggress onto this position rather, but for now it doesn't really seem like that's going to happen. I think they will focus their attention instead towards the A bomb site, and with both players pushed up aggressive on short, this could get a bit scary. We see Buster being able to walk up long, and there's not really going to be anyone on this A bomb site waiting for him.
Yeah, it looks like it should be a fairly easy A site take. They might have to clear bathrooms. That's where Engine is currently positioned. And Engine does get picked off. So Buster opening up the A site, and he will gain a very sort of aggressive advanced position in towards Bank. That certainly gives his teammates a lot of room, and the bomb will certainly go down. Now the question is, which way are the rest of the kills going to go? Because already Space Soldiers finding a couple of frags on the retake. Jame up close with the AWP needs this kill, and he flicks to the head of Xantares. Music also going to chime in with 1, but the eventual trade comes out. James still has the AWP in play, but the incendiary forces him back. The defuse is coming in, and Jame realizes there is nothing he can do. Space Soldiers just about get their 3rd round on the board. But AVANGAR still looks deadly in that round, to be honest. They claimed the A site quite quickly. And if it weren't for those quick kills on the retake for Space Soldiers, that could have gone a different way.
Yeah, and only living with 2 players means that now after this full investment, they won't actually have enough. They will be working with the 5 rifles and are averaging just a bit over 1,000 in terms of the economy, while AVANGAR still have a decent amount of money remaining. So it's going to be important now for Space Soldiers to actually try and actually chain a couple of rounds together, start building this up from this point, and ideally they probably want to get up towards 7, because it's just the CT side on this map is what you usually would be favoured on. As right now, AVANGAR looking good. Seems like they will be just holding out for a default, just splitting up and waiting to see if any picks can be found. And Zampire is getting aggressive, actually will be taken down by Crizzen. So AVANGAR with a great opening kill. Now Space Soldiers on the back foot. What are they going to be able to do to try and bring this round back in their favour now?
And again, it's Xantares getting picked off early, which is really unfortunate for Space Soldiers. He was actually in really good form. In the last series that Space Soldiers played in the Pro League relegation matches, he played against Godsend. They won the series 2-0, but Xantares in particular had an insane performance. I think he had like 120 ADR over the 2 maps they played, and something like a 2 KD ratio. So Xantares will like to up his game a little. He's not been playing badly, but by his standards, he generally has very, very great showings. By the way, Engine spots out the man, does a little bit of damage. 34 seconds left here. Space Soldiers could try and work the time, because AVANGAR have to make the move now. And it looks like they will decide to make that move towards B, but 25 seconds, they need to make this happen.
Yeah, cutting it very close currently. They will try and make their way out on Monster. Nice pop flash by Calix, allows for 1 and a second. Danger and Paz also able to take down 2 as they come up short, and now it's just going to be James that remains. As AVANGAR just letting that time run down too low. Great usage of utility by Space Soldiers. They still had it available. That hadn't really been pressured out of their hands. And because of that, it will be the rounds going in their favour. And you can see Paz try and just keep himself alive, looking to try and hunt that one down. Rather, James trying to stay alive, but it's not really going to work out. He is going to be traded, and it is now going to be Space Soldiers getting themselves up to a 4th. But as mentioned, AVANGAR, they still have some money to work with, so they won't really be struggling for the buy quite yet. But it's after this one where their economy will be looking quite weak.
Yeah, we are already into the late stages of the first half. So the economy game will still be important. If you can just force the team down to an eco right at the end, give yourself another easy round win, would be very nice, especially for Space Soldiers, who are only having 4 rounds on the board so far. We have seen the aggression come out towards B short. This is something Calix has been doing quite consistently. Calix has really been the main aggressor on the Space Soldiers side so far. And he hasn't necessarily been having the best of times when he's been going for these aggressive plays. However, this time around, he just goes for the push and doesn't spot anyone out. So that's the advantage of going for this aggression. If you don't spot anyone, then you gain information for free without having, you know, taken any risk, really. So that's a good start for Space Soldiers. That's allowed them to stack a bit more heavily towards A, and that might just work because AVANGAR currently grouping up towards this A site, and already a couple of kills come in. Space Soldiers winning the first fight, but Buster should be good for this trade. Does eventually find that one, and AVANGAR still have time to work with, but it looks as though they're likely going to commit to A here.
Yeah, they'll be walking into 3 CTs already, who are just in great position. The smokes, though, will give at least some room for these players to try and work around, and Jamie hits the shot on the Paz, who slightly over-aggresses there. Pushes forward without the support of his teammates, hoping that smoke would be enough to cover him, and Buster finds the flank. Also going to be a kill going in favour of Crizzen, and now it's all onto Engine to try and clutch this one out. He finds the first 2, all onto Crizzen now, and he takes it. Engine, what a massive round to clutch out that 1-on-3.
Wow. It seems like Space Soldiers are getting most of their round wins due to individual plays, to be honest. There was that one round from Paz where he got 4 kills out towards Monster. He was flashed in for them, but that 3-man spray down was huge. And this time around, it's Engine stepping up with an excellent clutch. And if Space Soldiers are having to rely on these plays, that's a little bit sort of worrying for them. I think generally they don't have to have these massive plays come in for the round wins. And here we go again. The aggression comes towards B short. It's Major this time around who gets caught off guard. And it seems like whenever AVANGAR are taking the fights towards that position, they're, for the most part, coming out on top. That's where quite a lot of their early advantages have come from. And yet again, in this 14th round, that's how they get their man advantage early on.
Yeah, they do still have the up, of course. It's going to be in the hands of Engine, and they also actually have a decent aggressive stance over towards B. We see Paz in a position where he should at least be able to find that info quite early, but it's still up to the players on 8 to try and get something done. And Xantar's holding a nice and tight angle there. He's going to be able to find one and be freely allowed to fall back away. So equalizes the situation in terms of the manpower, and takes the advantage even in terms of the firepower, as the Vanguard, of course, don't really have everything to work with. But as an AK is retrieved, it's looking pretty decent. The Vanguard, 50 seconds remain to decide what they want to do. Xantar, he stays forward and is going to be able to take down at least one more before eventually falling. And Calyx, look at this, the confidence that's been shown by Space Soldiers currently is going to be working out perfectly, as now Space Soldiers, they know that Vanguard are basically going to be forced to commit to this A bomb site. They have a player on long, they have one on the site itself who's at least able to take down one before falling. And that means it's going to be all onto Crizzen now, left in a 1-on-2, and I don't think he's aware that Engine is over on long. He's in such a great position. Also, Calyx coming in from behind from the toilets. This is just going to be really difficult now for Crizzen to try and get this one done. He has so little time. He's trying to clear out the positions, but he could maybe run towards the B bomb site and put himself in a really good position. But he needs to get a move on ASAP as time. It's running extremely low, and as he makes the footsteps, it will be known. Calyx now going to go ahead and reposition himself down connector, but also Engine coming in from heaven. They are going to be quite separated. This could get a little bit dodgy if he's able to win out this first 1 versus 1. Crizzen needs this kill. It is extremely important, and he's not really going to be able to find it instantly. He takes some damage down to 54. Looks to try and face, but a great flash by Calyx is going to hold him back for the moment. And you know, Crizzen's position and the 2-on-1. All they have to do now is wait until they can play this one together and make sure that the trade does come in. As now Crizzen forced back towards Monster. Time slowly beginning to tick away. Molotov by Engine almost gets himself caught off guard. But it doesn't matter. Calyx is going to be there to find that kill, and Space Soldiers get themselves a 6th round.
Yeah, there was certainly a little bit of a chance there in the clutch. You saw that the players peeking on Space Soldiers, they did both peek at the same time, but there was certainly a second or two where the headshot could have come in. Unfortunately for AVANGAR, unfortunately for Crizzen, he doesn't quite connect with the headshot he would have been looking for. So, heading into the last round of the half, it's, again, a slightly sort of weakened buy for AVANGAR, but nothing too awful. They still have 4 AKs to play with. It's mainly the nades that seem to be a little bit lacking, with only 2 players having the full sets of utility. And we're going to see Space Soldiers again get aggressive. Engine gets that first kill, and Xantar is also trying to push out. Push out 1 by 1 there, but Paz does get the trade in time. Now, however, I don't know if Paz can fall back. And you can see Kickert catches him in the back. Paz was just about to get peeked from both angles, so that's why you don't see aggression towards A-long all that often, especially if you don't have players in towards bathrooms. It's looking good for AVANGAR now. Well, I was going to say man advantage is quickly lost as Engine rotates up in time for the frag. One looks to be going back towards B. Calyx has pushed out in towards short. This could be a really strong position. This is a free frag every single time. Strong position for Calyx, but Kicker still has the B site, so certainly a winnable clutch here.
Yeah, certainly, but Engine in a good position now to just hold this position and at least be able to spot when he crosses back, and it doesn't matter. He hits the shot, takes down Kickert, and ensures that round will go in their favour. But even if he didn't, likely having that player coming in from short and knowing the position, they could have just worked together once again to close it out. But yeah, the final round of that first half, they're done in favour of Space Soldiers, and you have to say they salvaged that one quite well. And it was at one point, I believe, 7 or 8-2 rather, so able to bring back 5 in a row. Just looking much better towards the end.
And again, that was really unfortunate at the end there. The smoke that AVANGAR deployed on towards the site, I think it bounced awkwardly off of the sight box, if I'm not mistaken, off of a really strange angle. And you saw there, the smoke was really far to the right. I don't think that's where he wanted to place it, and that allowed the AWP to have a free angle onto the bomb site. So somewhat unfortunate for AVANGAR, but they got off to that strong start. That's what I was talking about in terms of being able to maybe have a chance if Space Soldiers are a little bit of a slow starter here, and they still have an 8-7 lead of AVANGAR. However, as you were pointing out, 5 rounds in a row at the end of the half for Space Soldiers. Seems like they really found their form towards the end there, and let's see if they can continue that into their T side for this pistol, because they've gone for 2 sets of nades for this first buy of the half.
Yeah, and they will actually be making their way over towards the connector position, it seems. Maybe trying to make their way up over towards B, rather trying to split towards that bomb site. You can see the aggressive push early on by the CT side is just going to be forced back now. Kicker, he hears those footsteps.
Ooh. Don't think they're quite going to find him. And you can see B, again, looking very open. This is how Space Soldiers played it on their pistol round. Very, very passively. And Paz is just going to go through the smoke in towards water. AVANGAR can't really do anything about this. They've lost the sight. Kicker, though, boosted up, nearly catches someone out, but he is caught instead. A couple of kills come through for the Glocks. Jame does get the quick response, but it's still a man disadvantage they have to overcome. Demasik needs this frag and does find it, so it's back to a 3v3. They still have a kit on towards Jame as well, but Major goes aggressive. That's a really important frag to find as Major gets his third of the round. Beautiful shot, and it's going to be Calix closing it out with the P250. Calix gets 2 kills, Major finds 3 frags, and those 2 players combined win the round for Space Soldiers.
Yeah, great job by Major, especially in the end, just knowing that they weren't really in the greatest positions in that afterplant, so he just created his own space, pushed forward, got his own angles with that Glock, and was able to win out the first fight, and then he even managed to shut down another with the USB, so it was just a good round overall by Major, and because of that, Space Soldiers, they equalised the scoreline. Of AVANGAR, though, they won't be really giving this one away as easy as you may think. They will be forcing into it. They will be able to get 3 CZs, a Deagle, and a Scout into this one, but it's clearly not as good of a buy as Space Soldiers have available after winning the previous with 2 rifles, a UMP, rather 2 UMPs and a MAC-10. The SMG is looking to just try and clear out these close positions, and Engine actually won't be able to do so successfully. He falls to Demasik, but Major, he will eventually find that trade. It looks a bit awkward for a while, but as he does take it down, it will be back into a 4-on-4, and now AVANGAR, let's see what they're going to go for. It looks like they may even gamble a bit of a stack towards the A bomb site, which may be the correct decision, as right now all the presence for Space Soldiers is going to be on this side of the map. 2 on long, 2 on short, but still a lot of time for them to change their decision and make their way back maybe towards B if they wish to do so. It is Calix actually rather just holding connector, making sure that no flanks can come in.
Yeah, Jame does have a scout on the A site, so that could be interesting. However, with this smoke currently being up, that kind of works against Jame. It's going to allow Space Soldiers to get up close, and the scout is going to struggle to find these shots at this range. Jame now decides to fall back, and Space Soldiers have already gained so much ground towards the site. That molly forces the aggression. Really well played by Space Soldiers, just using their utility, and Calix will also chime in with a second frag. So from a 4v4 to a 4v2 in a matter of seconds. And ooh, Buster does get that headshot. Not necessarily a required peek from Calix there, as he gets caught out. But Paz is going to find the trade. Buster is just going to have to fall back, and ooh, Buster somehow gets that kill on towards Paz. I don't think he's going to be winning the round in a 1v2, but a little bit more damage done at least.
Yeah, if you can pick up that SMG and actually manage to escape the bomb, maybe that's not too bad. He gets the UMP, but the question is, will he actually be able to get out of radius, only 10 points of HP? I think he will be just about able to. He should be able to make his way towards Monster, where he should be safe. And Space Soldiers, of course, carrying over the 2 rifles. They only lost the SMGs, it won't really be too big of a deal. Ideally, they maybe would have wanted to have taken that one a bit cleaner, kept some more players alive, but they still will be happy. They take themselves the lead even now into this game for the, I believe, first time. I was a little bit late into the game, of course, and yeah, it is for the first time, so a decent position now for Space Soldiers. They should be able to increase that even further with only that weapon being saved over by Buster, and mostly just default pistols and CZ and a P250. Prison, interestingly enough, actually decides to go for Kevlar, which takes a little bit more off his economy. He doesn't really have the best. 70 and 50 perhaps would have been better to just make sure that he could get the utility out in the following, but let's see what they'll be able to get done now. Bit of a stack over towards B. Some aggression coming in with a nicely placed pop flash, but currently no one over on the side of the map for Space Soldiers. They are just going to be creeping up towards A, and it seems like AVANGAR may have a bit of an inkling now about that one. They will begin to make their way back over towards this position, look to try and stack up this bomb site, but the question is, will they actually be able to get into position fast enough? And Calix is in such a good position right now. Coming behind may not actually have the timing work in his favour, but his teammates still winning out these battles over on the A side. So far as Major stepping it up once again, finding a couple headshots, and now it's all on the Buster. Has that UMP still, of course, but with 4 players to find, it's very unlikely to be that ace clutch, and he will be taken down by Xantares.
Yeah, that nearly got really awkward for Space Soldiers there. We kind of, we saw, as you saw in towards Connector, Calix didn't quite spot out the player that was there. And then Xantares in towards short, wasn't looking towards the top of Connector whatsoever, but he heard the steps luckily enough, so he still found the frag, and it all works out for Space Soldiers. They're going to get into the lead. And this is now 8 rounds in a row for Space Soldiers, if you count the end to their CT side. Like I said, that Jame is going to flick back to Xantares. Very quick opening kill, and Jame's going to go for a bit more aggression here, but he could get caught. Indeed he is. Paz finds him in the back. James seemed a little unaware that there was potentially more players in towards Connector there. He was trying to go aggressive in towards short. However, that means that even though he gets the opening pick, he kind of throws away the advantage he'd given his team. Back to a 4-on-4 now.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a mistake there made by JM, and also in a very important gun round. That's something that you want to be happening. Done a great job to find the opening kill, but perhaps getting a little bit overzealous there, pushing forward, wanting more, and just getting caught off guard, not being able to do anything about it. So into this one now, 4-on-4, it will be favouring Space Soldiers. The CT side, they're going to have to spread that defence just a little bit more thinly, and that means Space Soldiers, if they group up and just make their way in, they're going to have a pretty decent number advantage. As at least for now, Vanguard, they have a bit of an aggressive stance in towards B Water, and it looks like Space Soldiers will be coming towards this position, but a nicely placed pop flash is going to allow for that first kill to come in. Now Prison at least will be able to delay for a small amount of time with a nice Molotov placement. Still, it's going to be difficult right now. Space Soldiers have the man advantage, they have the weapon advantage. It's going to be up to just UMPs really to try and hold down this B bomb site, but Kickert, he finds at least one. If he can get another out, this would be ideal and somehow stay alive, as now his teammate comes into support from short. Sick in position, but Major, he finds one more, and Calyx even finds the flank, as it will be Space Soldiers to get that gun round and take that lead up 11-8.
And really nicely done by Space Soldiers. Even though the UMP around the pillar managed to get some damage done, wasn't really enough for AVANGAR there. Even though they get a couple of kills, they were already at a decently big disadvantage. And now AVANGAR will be forced back to just pistols into this 20th round. For what it's worth as well, Space Soldiers, I don't think necessarily need an AWP for the T side here. So they've decided to stick with the AKs to start the round. And they're just going to spread out holding passively.
Yeah, bit of an investment by Vanguard, but not really a force, of course, having the money bonus. But while we have a chance, I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone that there is a giveaway being done on the channel. It is for a field-tested flip knife blue steel. If you want to try and get yourself entered into that draw, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. It will be given away on Sunday after the grand finals. But getting back to this game right now, it is going to be some trades early on, and it will end up going in favour of Space Soldiers. Santeris, he finds Team Masika was aggressive towards long holding from the toilets, maybe hoping to catch one or two players off guard if possible up close. But it will be Space Soldiers to claim themselves the man advantage, and Vanguard at least have an AK to work with. But as I say that right now, it is going to be Space Soldiers kind of slowing this one down. Doesn't look like they've made a commitment about either site, and Vanguard taking a bit of a gamble now to stack towards A. It could be the correct decision. It certainly could have Space Soldiers come in this direction. But right now there is still a decent amount of time left. The bomb at least favoured towards this position currently.
Yeah, certainly not a bad idea, considering AVANGAR are a man down, taking a risk to try and win the round. Kickert doesn't quite spot the players that were out towards A long, so now he's going to go back towards B with that AK. Having said that, with 30 seconds left, Kritsen has managed to get a kill here. It's back to a 3-on-3. The trade does come out, but Space Soldiers need to make this quick. They are going to go back towards the B site, and Kickert here with the AK. If he could find multiple frags or just slow them down, there's a chance for AVANGAR. Here comes the push. Kickert still holding from Graffiti. Zantares gets the first kill. They need to go now. Kickert could deny the bomb, gets the first kill. The bomb is going down, and Kickert cannot do anything about it. Calyx manages to peek on towards him. Unfortunately for Kickert there, he was just in too passive of a position to be able to deny the bomb plant. But Vanguard do a fair amount of damage in that round. Again, keeping Space Soldiers' economy at least somewhat manageable. However, at this point, they've now lost 10 rounds in a row, if you count that end to the first half. That means they were up 8-2 at one point, and it's just not gone their way. Either way, they're going to try and win this round now. They've got the double AWPs, and Demasic going fairly aggressive at the early stages there, but will now fall back.
Yeah, I like this double up setup coming in though. Buster getting a chance also to try and use that. He's very capable with that weapon, as is James, so it's something that they may need, especially since currently Space Soldiers not actually going to be using that op. The op is going to be handed around that point, and I guess on the T side happy enough with just sticking with the 5 rifle buy, especially at the moment where it has been working for them to take the last 5 rounds on this T side in a row since it begun. Right now, a bit of a passive default actually coming in by Space Soldiers, and Vanguard themselves not really aggressing too far forward. We've seen they kind of shied away from that since JM actually got taken down towards Connector, I guess, because right now just holding towards A long, completely giving up the toilets position, and holding quite passively over towards B also. But look at this by JM, he's forward of the smoke at least. He's in a position to maybe catch one player off guard and then try and fall back and remain alive.
Yeah, Demasic goes for a peek out towards A long. That's somewhat surprising. Either way, Jane with the AWP holding patiently. and his patience will be rewarded. He gets the first kill on towards Calyx. In the meantime, Xantares is going to get flashed in for the peak. That's forced James to go passive, so Dimasic is left somewhat alone on the site, and he doesn't get that kill. That is a disaster for Dimasic. He needed that frag, but James, as you were saying, gets the wallbang to come through. Krizan also chimes in with a kill. It's all going the way of AVANGAR. Only Major left, and sure, he's got in towards Bank, but he's got 4 players to find, and Buster gets another wallbang with the AWP. It's going to be AVANGAR now up to their 9th round win. They finally put a stop to that Space Soldiers winning streak.
Yeah, nice, and I could just feel that wallbang coming in. The second I saw the player with the bomb was, I think he was roughly 20 HP, and I saw James just in position to shut that one down. I could just feel that coming in, and it worked perfectly, and the round ended up going in favour of AVANGAR. So let's see if they're going to be at least able to try and chain a couple of rounds together. Space Soldiers be able to just return this one, as they are still going to have a pretty good buy coming into this one. They have the rifles, they have the utility, and Buster, look how aggressive he's getting right now. The confidence is showing, and it's going to work in his favour as he takes down Calyx. Thanks to that Molotov, won't have the opportunity for a trade, but he may be able to. Oh my god, Buster! His head got busted open indeed, as he just gives away that opening advantage, and now Space Soldiers in a decent position with it being back into a 4-on-4.
Yeah, Xantares has been a little bit quiet on this map. However, I think that's in part because he's been a bit unfortunate in terms of getting picked off early on, and well, he's just shown there what he can do if he is alive. Certainly don't want him to be on the opposite side of things. However, AVANGAR are just going to have to try and deal with him. Still a 4v4, so even with that opening pick, we have to put it into perspective. However, just as I say that, Engine spots out the aggression of James, and Xantares gets a second headshot. They're going to push towards B, and Krizan has to hold this one. There's the quick kill, though. Now we can go passively and wait for the rotation. The peek comes in, but Krizan gets the second kill, has the last man left. He gets sprayed down. And one by one there, Space Soldiers peeked in towards Krizan, and he managed to win every single fight.
Yeah, and finally, some players on AVANGAR beginning to step it up. We saw 10 rounds, of course, in a row for Space Soldiers, but now AVANGAR been able to break their economy. Of course, 5 of those only in a row in this half, so that's all that affected their economy, and I guess they didn't really build it up as strong as they perhaps would have liked. AVANGAR should be able to get themselves up to 11 now, and it's just going to be a small investment by Space Soldiers overall. They at least get some utility to work with. They will be looking to maybe try and get the bomb plant towards the B bomb site, it seems, but for the moment they're kind of just chilling back in the T-spawn, playing this extremely passively, and AVANGAR, they're happy enough with that. They have the double up self, they have the utility to work with later into the round, and they're just going to be hanging back far and making sure that these pistols won't actually be able to close the distance.
As you were saying, the two AWPs will try and play from as long-range angles as possible. Space Soldiers really don't have that much investment into pistols, though. They've gone for quite a lot of utility instead. And that should work quite well here, because AVANGAR are playing very passively. They don't want to risk giving up these rifles. So because of that, they're going to concede the bomb site. You can see the AWP there was trying to connect, but it's just going to be a 5v5 after the bomb goes down. Kicker is trying to get aggressive, but Paz has been allowed to get up close with that CZ. So this has worked quite well for Space Soldiers. They do still need to find the frags, but the boost coming in towards Heaven. Paz could catch them out here. There's the one kill. Only going to find the one for the time being. James, in the meantime, switches it up to the AK and finds that headshot. So Paz is shut down, and Major and Calyx only have Glocks left to work with. Major stuck towards short, and the defuse should almost certainly come in. Although having said that, they're taking their time here. Major I don't think is going to be able to do anything, though. He does get hunted down, and AVANGAR keep on going. 3 rounds in a row. They finally are finding something with these double AWPs.
Yeah, it's working out well now for AVANGAR. I'd say this map is the one that I would presume they'd be taking. I think I still favour this entire series to Space Soldiers, but I think AVANGAR definitely, this map should be one they're taking. But I just noticed on the scoreboard right now, Dimasic is definitely not showing up. We saw that round where he wasn't able to capitalise on the kills from that could be an A long, and right now, if I'm looking at the scoreboard, he's actually currently 4-20. That's not the performance you want to see from who was probably one of their better players. We've seen, especially the previous time they played, he had a great performance. Right now he will be looking to get aggressive, so perhaps not really affecting his confidence. Let's see if he's going to be able to find anything out of this, as it seems like he will actually bypass a couple of players in towards Playground, and if he goes the correct way, he may be able to take down Engine or even cut the bomb off. Calyx in position also, may be able to find both of these from behind, and just such a good position right now by Dimasic. Gets himself at least one, drops the bomb, and he will be able to find the second. Takes down both of the stars for the Space Soldier side. Alex and Xanthars are wiped off the map, and now maybe Space Soldiers trying to actually reclaim this bomb, which isn't going to be easy. Such a good position right now for Demasik. If he can find even one more kill out of this, that would be ideal, but either way, he's done more than enough, and he gets a lot of info. He knows the bomb's now in this position, and he claims his team that man advantage.
Yeah, and I think that's why even when you're having a bad game, it's sometimes worth going aggressive. I mean, I can understand the risk, obviously. If he goes down there, if he loses an aim fight, then it looks pretty bad. But going aggressive, if you don't spot opponents out, it gets your team a lot of information. It makes it easier for them to play the round. And sometimes you can even make plays like that. Demasik gets those 2 kills. I was somewhat surprised that AVANGAR didn't push through Monster to try and help hold down the bomb. But they didn't exactly have control towards B short, so maybe they're a little worried of that coming through. Either way, 23 seconds, and Jame is going to miss that shot. That gives Space Soldiers a little bit of room to work with, but Kicker is coming in from behind, but Jame dies straight up to the Molotov. Oh, sorry, gets a kill with the Molotov. It's Major who's taken down, and in the meantime, Kicker also going to chime in with a kill from the big flank. AVANGAR managed to get all the kills necessary for the retake. And we're back to an even scoreline, 12-12. This is looking like it's going to be a very, very tight first match.
Yeah, Vanguard definitely not giving up after even losing 10 rounds in a row. They've just come back with 3 or I believe 4 of their own now at this point, hasn't it been? Yeah, 4 of their own. So Space Soldiers at least are going to be able to get a buyout into this one. They have a decent buy overall. Calix, if he gets the AK, is not going to really have any utility to back it up, and he's still actually yet to buy. I'm not sure what's going on. He is just chilling back in the spawn, has the bomb in his possession, and will eventually go ahead and buy up that AK-47. Nice nade, actually. No damage to be found. That was strange from Demasik. I don't think that was going to be a touchdown, as no damage at all is done, other than, I believe, 1 on the Paz, so very little, nothing really substantial. Space Soldiers right now just going for a default. Nothing really been working for these past couple of rounds, and just hoping maybe be able to find these picks as a Vanguard. They have been going aggressive, it's just the M-Jules and the timings have kind of been working in their favour.
Yeah, sometimes those HE grenades do seem to have a mind of their own. You never know if they're going to do 50 damage or about 10 damage, or in this case, literally 1 damage, as you were saying. Either way, at the start of this round, both teams were holding very, very passively. I think that does kind of show how important this round is. Again, AVANGAR are playing really far back on towards the B site. I certainly understand that when they're up against the pistols, but here, against the gun round, it's going to be really easy for Space Soldiers to deploy that, deploy the utility, deploy the smokes, and be able to crack the bomb site. You would think the bomb plant could be fairly expected at this point, because Space Soldiers don't have too much to contend with on the site itself. You see 3 players just all stuck in towards Graffiti. This becomes really awkward for AVANGAR now. Space Soldier's going to get the bomb down, and this is not an easy retake here.
Yeah, going to be a 5-on-5, and with a double up setup, it's going to be even more difficult than you would perhaps expect. But they have some utility to work with. They have a couple smokes that can try and at least cut off some of the viewpoints and try and at least stop some trades. But we see Space Soldiers, they're confident. They're going to go for that peek together. No damage yet to be found, but Buster, he eventually steps it up, takes down 1 player through his teammate, albeit, but it is going to be going so far in favor of AVANGAR on the retake, as Calix needs to step it up massively. He finds 2, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough as Jame. Flick on the engine, and AVANGAR are going to be able to reclaim control of this game, as they will lead 13-12, and Space Soldiers at least getting the bomb plant will be able to buy once again. They've lost that lead now, and AVANGAR looking really good on the CT side.
I guess the one benefit for Space Soldiers is the fact that they could get the bomb down so easily means they will certainly still have a buy for this round. It's not going to include the AWP, but the AKs are certainly competent. They will try to get it done with just the 5 rifles in hand. Either way, Jame is peeking in towards mid. Nade comes back, but oh, Paz there, down to 42 HP. That was James' nade that did all that damage, and Jame now goes for the peek, but misses the shot. That could have been the perfect start to the round for AVANGAR, but not quite meant to be this time around. And look at the B site. Again, AVANGAR playing so passively. This time around, they don't even really have the retake lined up. This is going to have to be so quick from AVANGAR. And Major gets flashed in, again finding the opening kill in that position. And what can AVANGAR really do here?
Yeah, it's not really going to be working out at all. Paz able to shut down 2 over towards connector. Jame, he's not even going to be able to connect the shot there, and he will get chased down. Luckily enough, on the second chance, he will be able to actually hit it. But still, it looks like Space Soldiers are going to be trying to hunt for this one. They don't have a lot of money themselves. They can't really afford to lose too much, so they need to be a bit cautious. But Jamin only 10 HP. There's a chance he may be taken down by Engine, but more damage being done by Kickert. He's actually able to claim a couple of kills on the fall off. And now, this is actually a pretty decent salvage to this round by AVANGAR. There was no way they were winning that anymore, but they are able to at least take a couple of kills out of it, and they should be able to save both weapons.
Space Soldiers finally managed to put a stop to that winning streak AVANGAR had going. They'd won 5 rounds in a row, and that was when they were having the double AWP setup. That won't be an option for AVANGAR this time around. They decide to only stick with the one AWP for Jame, but I don't really think AVANGAR were winning those rounds because of the double AWP, so I don't really think it's a massive issue. And ooh, that Molotov takes Santaris somewhat low there, down to 60 HP at the early stages. And again, we haven't really seen Space Soldiers go for too many fast rounds, except for that recent one where they went towards B. And it looks like that trend will continue. But you've also got to look at the AVANGAR side of things. They finally switched up that B defense. They are trying to hold from the site. And I think it's about time they sort of make this adaptation, because that passive B hold, I mean, it did work on the retake in that one round. However, I don't think that's something you can consistently rely on.
No, certainly not, and you need a lot of utility also. And the previous times they kind of just used most of it before they actually made their way into the bomb site to try and hold it down. So didn't really have much to work with in the retake. So they will go ahead and try and adapt to this one. Space Soldiers, they've spotted a bit of a weakness on B, and if they continue to try and go towards that side of the map now, it should be a much more solid defense coming in from AVANGAR. As for the moment, anyway, Space Soldiers just hold them back quite passively, but with time beginning to run down. Just about 40 seconds now remaining on the clock. It looks like it will be once again the turrets making their way towards this B bomb site. And let's see how it's going to go right now. As a nice flash by Kickert will be thrown out for some info to be gained. And that should allow now for some rotates to come in from the A bomb site also. But Engine wins that fight out against Grisnu, but continues to take that fight when perhaps it's not needed. And it's all going in favour of Space Soldiers. Buster needs to step it up massively. He finds one that spray isn't really going to be enough though to take down any more. So damage is at least found. But Jame now going to be the last man standing in a 1-on-3. And he's just coming down from the A bomb site currently. And I don't think he's going to be looking for this one. Just looking to try and save instead.
Yeah, I wonder if AVANGAR aren't really comfortable trying to sort of properly hold that B bomb site in the way that most teams do. Because this time around, they do decide to switch it up. They do decide to try and hold it off. And yet they don't really find the kills that they needed. I mean, I don't think anything was necessarily too wrong with their setup there. It was just Space Soldiers being able to win a couple of early fights. And that meant that AVANGAR kind of had to try and get the trades, and that exposes themselves. It makes it easier for Space Soldiers to hunt them down. And that will be Space Soldiers into the lead. As you were saying, Jame gets to save the AWP. That's quite an important save, because now he can drop a gun for Demasic and still get a full buy for AVANGAR. Speaking of the full buy, it's a very, very strong buy. They're going for the double AWPs here. Buster's going to pick up that second one. Space Soldiers still not going for an AWP on their T side. The rifles have been doing decently well for them so far. And here we go, round 28. We are heading into the very, very late stages of this first map now. Every round means so much at this point.
Yeah, once again, looks like B will be the target for Space Soldiers, and it looks to be a bit faster this time. Will it catch the AVANGAR side off guard is the question. Utility going to be used quite well early on. Damage going to be put in favour of AVANGAR, and they actually have a pretty decent setup. The question is, can they actually get the kills? Alex going to actually take down a couple teammates in the process of finding it. What is happening? Paz kills himself. I have no idea what's going on right now, but it's still going to be Buster finding one. AVANGAR takes themselves the advantage by one man. And somehow Space Soldiers, this round has just been one of the most confusing things I've ever seen. I have genuinely zero idea what's happening currently. I don't know how Calyx got a triple collateral, one of those being his teammate with an AK, and now it's just going to be Calyx and Santaris that remain. Make that Santaris. He is a very solid player, but a 1-on-3 may be too much to require, as he is going to be able to at least find that first onto Demasic. As now Buster and Jame trying to shut this one down with the ops, and it will indeed be Buster to connect the shot. And AVANGAR get themselves up to 14 to equalise the scoreline with a very strange round coming in.
I really don't know. I mean, AVANGAR managed to win the round on the retake, and they only got 3 kills. That's how crazy that round was. Calyx with the team kill. That was just really ridiculous. I think he fired like only a few bullets there and got 3 headshots. 2 on towards opponents, 1 on towards his teammates. So you certainly can't blame Calyx for that. And then I have no idea how Paz died, honestly. I guess he got caught by his own molly or something. Either way, it's back to a 14-14 scoreline, and Paz has just taken a chunk of damage down to 50 HP early into the round. Those nades seem to be pretty well placed for the most part from AVANGAR. They get the early damage yet again, and because of that, Paz is going to give the AK over to Engine by the looks of things. So Space Soldiers, with their slightly limited buy, need to make sure, that they don't sort of lose focus, I guess, because sure, that last round was crazy, but it's still 14-14. This is still a hugely important round, and you can see Space Soldiers just slowing things down. The quick play didn't work. They're going to go for what had been working so far with their slow strategy. And with a minute left on the clock, they still really haven't made too many maneuvers. But now they look to make something happen as they take Connector and make their way towards A short.
Yeah, and finally swapping it up towards the other bomb site now. Let's see what success they're going to be able to find. But it's not perfect. They don't have everything they could want. And this is, of course, going to be perhaps the most important round of this game so far. Neither team having a lot of money. 14-14. Whoever takes this one will have an easier chance of taking the following and being able to close this one out. So, AVANGAR, let's see if they're going to be able to hold this down. Jane with the op posted up will be able to drop Major and finds that opening advantage now in favour of AVANGAR. But that Molotov's not really going to help. He actually burns Demasik out of his position. Quickly enough, no one on A long to actually take him down. Kickerton position here where he could get overwhelmed, but he does at least find one before that happens, and Demasik steps it up massively and sprays them down. As now it's just going to be onto Calix. We've seen him in the previous round taking 3 in 1 bullet. This time it has to be all opponents, and he has the AWP to work with. And he is going to be caught off guard, but he flicks and takes down JM, and it could get a bit risky. But low HP Prison, he easily closes that one out, and it will be AVANGAR to claim themselves a map point.
And look at the money for Space Soldiers. Engine is just, he's going to have to buy an AK and drop it to his teammate. It's going to go into the hands of Xantares. I mean, I know Space Soldiers buy is bad, but whenever Xantares has an AK, there is always a chance they can win the round. That's certainly something we've seen Xantares be able to pull off in the past. And I think the CZs can still find some positions where they can sort of take sometimes even favorable fights for them. Especially if they go in towards B short and AVANGAR go aggressive there, that's somewhere the CZs can find success. So it's not over for Space Soldiers just yet. They still do have a little bit of a mountain to climb in this buy. 1 AK alongside the pistols, and here we go, round 30. It all comes down to this. AVANGAR have the 2 AWPs as well, so weaponry advantage clearly in their favor. The Space Soldiers still have every chance if that AK or those pistols can do damage.
Yeah, Xantares having the AK, of course, as well. He would be the player that you'd want to have this in the possession of, and it looks like they will be once again trying to favour over towards this B bomb site. Paz, of course, with that Mac 10 looking to try and lead the way. If he falls, the info will at least be given. Xantares then has the possibility for a trade, but so far Space Soldiers, they've been very predictable on what they're doing. They've been really just putting the presence on the side of the map that they do want to hit later in the round, and AVANGAR, they probably have a read on this by now. So let's see what's going to happen. Space Soldiers, they're not really moving too far forward at the moment. The bomb actually left all the way back in spawn, I believe, in the possession of Calix. Will eventually be making his way back towards his teammates, but AVANGAR changing it up now. This boost going to be coming in to try and find at least an opening. Buster with the AWP also posted up on this position as now it will be Space Soldiers moving in through, but Buster, he opens that one up. He's able to take down Engine. It's a one-man advantage in favour of AVANGAR as the bomb will at least get planted now for Space Soldiers, but it's going to be a tough one for them to try and hold off without the firepower to do so. And indeed, not going to be working out well so far. James finds another. Prison going to be able to take down Xantares. However, James finds his first. It's all onto Major now in a 1-on-5, and he will be taken down by Demasik. So AVANGAR gets a little bit shaky perhaps after having that 8-2 lead, but in the end, they do manage to just about get their way over that final hurdle. They're able to take this map 16-14, and we will send it now back to the analyst desk.
A big upset coming out from AVANGAR, taking Space Soldiers down 16-14 on overpass. It was their map pick. They were in the lead from the beginning, but Space Soldiers, as Hoka said at one point, 10 rounds in a row for them, and somehow they managed to lose this overpass, and they are now moving on to cash that is picked by Space Soldiers. But of course, before we go into cash, we're going to break down overpass. So gentlemen, I mean, looking at AVANGAR, really nice performance at the start, basically shutting down Space Soldiers from the beginning on T side. But when Space Soldiers switched to T, and let's say there by the end, like a couple of rounds at the end of first half, they were quite dominant, taking a couple of rounds in a row. T side really dominant until one point. then everything falls apart. I mean, Dima, Hogar, you saw that round when Dima pushed through mid. Amazing timing by him, gotta admit. But
He got lucky.
yeah, he got lucky. But again, it's kind of, I don't know.
It's combination of luck and skill to not.
Yeah, and
pick
bad
to-
setup from Space Soldiers as well. No one was watching there. I mean, they had two players towards
They,
there, but
they heard flash for the fountain. I mean, they needed to suppose that maybe somebody will push the fountain. They were just stuck in the playground. I mean, you must check you're behind, right?
yeah, but what can you get out of this game? I mean, it was pretty close. A couple of crucial mistakes when entering site from Space Soldiers on B. First team kill by Calix, then Pass jumps into his Molotov. He dies as well. That's two players down for Space Soldiers, even not from enemies. And that's kind of bringing you down, right? Because communication was not really on point in those crucial rounds when they were 5-on-5 and they were going for set executes towards B site. And seems like they're kind of overthinking some stuff, I would say, when they entered the site. That's why maybe that thing happened on B.
AVANGAR played pretty good on B. Sometimes they were aggressive, playing pillow, and few times they decided. I mean, they saw the Space Soldiers really likes to attack B, right, with the setup smokes and everything. They just decided to play defensive and just to play on retake. And from that point on, I mean, Space Soldiers couldn't respond to that retakes. I mean, they hurled flashes and mollies for the side to clear up short. And I mean, Space Soldiers, they had a good setup for that side. I mean, Engine was staying short and with the two flashes and just trying to pop flash on some timing to try to let his teammates to pick, but they didn't hit their shots. I mean, it wasn't bad action. They just missed shots, and that's it.
Yeah, it was all really, I mean, questionable when you look at Dima being underwhelming for AVANGAR, but yet again, AVANGAR managed to take this map. Imagine if Dima wakes up for the second map and they keep on performing like they did.
Dima didn't have a lot of frags, but that round he pushed middle. They won that round, and on 14-14 he was in the corner on the A side on the long, and he got there 2 or 3 kills, I think. So almost like the kills he had before that. So same amount. So I mean, 2 very impact frags and impact rounds from him. So
yeah, Danny, who was the MVP of AVANGAR's side? Who do you think brought them?
That's Kicker. Obviously, he played for 2 guys himself and for Dima. Even though Dima had some really nice rounds, especially that one you mentioned when he killed the bomb carrier and won that round, but still he missed so many shots on A side. I remember watching him in the first half pushing through that A long, flanking 2 guys from behind, trying to spray both, and he missed both shots and he just died immediately. And in the second half, he was in that corner towards A long, and I mean, 2 guys were in front of him. I don't know what he tried. You just have to tap him or burst fire. He sprayed and didn't get a kill. But still, I think I don't know what happened with Space Soldiers. That's quite strange. I mean, they were winning 10 rounds in a row from first to second half. Played really good, but AVANGAR, even though they decided to play that retake on B side, I mean, it worked once, but the second time I think they failed. But overall, it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was really a nice game from AVANGAR. I mean, they managed to come back to win it 16-14. It was a pretty close match. Actually, I thought that Space Soldiers definitely have this. But looks like we are going for a second map, of course. But before we go into the second map, we're going for a short commercial break. Don't forget to visit farmskins.com because they currently have winter sales going on, and you can grab cases for 90% off and get yourself a nice skin. We are going for a short commercial break now. When we come back, we are going to analysis of cash. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Farmskins Championship Season 2. This is first day of playoffs. We have first quarterfinal going on currently between Space Soldiers and AVANGAR. Second match of the day will be with Mousesports and Men's Not Hot, so make sure to stay on the stream, of course, and follow these matches because a lot of action is coming your way in interesting best of threes. I mean, we thought that Space Soldiers are going to win easily this best of three against AVANGAR, but AVANGAR definitely putting their mark on Overpass, winning 16-14. Second map in this best of three is Cash and is picked by Space Soldiers. So they have chance of coming back, of course. Again, Cash, a map that can suit these players pretty well because they are pretty good individuals, especially Xantares. We saw him playing pretty well. Calix had a really good game. Even Engine, I think Engine surprised us all. He was AWP player towards A site as CT. When it comes to T, it seems like they have a bit of a conflicts in roles in Space Soldiers currently.
Maybe just Paz doesn't like playing with op on Overpass.
I mean, yeah, that can be the case, but you usually want your opera to be available to all maps.
Each map, yeah.
So yeah, let's shortly break this Cash down because we are soon going live into the game. Danny, what do you think? Can Space Soldiers come back on Cash and win this and tie this series? Actually,
yeah, I think they're better shooters, but if Dima6 starts playing again like he did on Overpass, I mean, I hope he didn't lose his confidence because of his mistakes he did, although not including that run when he killed two guys with a bomb. But still, Kickert, I'm not sure if he's able to perform like he did on Overpass. I mean, he had 30 kills, that's quite impressive, but I'm leaning towards Space Soldiers on this one.
What about you, Jorge?
I agree. I mean, Space Soldiers always played good Cash, and Xantares really like that map because, I mean, it's so opened. He's one of the best aimers, as I said, so yeah, 1-1.
Yeah, interesting style when he plays as well. We saw him at E-League Boston or Atlanta as well. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of players playing that close to a monitor, but seems like it's working out for Xantares. I mean, pretty interesting. Overall, I think he's really a good player, and you can see basically every professional player respecting him when he was introduced to FPL as well. So seems like we are ready to go live into the second map of this best of three. And of course, once again, casters for you are Dean and Hawk.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back. Of course, we are going to be going into the second map now. It is just going to be the knife round that's live, and it should be a good one. I think I agree on the desk that it will be Space Soldiers being able to take this one, but I think Mirage will probably be, if we do go that far, quite a lot closer.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, AVANGAR certainly aren't a bad Cash team either. It's just the fact that Space Soldiers are really, really good on this map. They pretty consistently get wins on Cash. I mean, AVANGAR, remember, they did play this at the Major, or in the qualifier once against Misfits, and they got the win there, so that's certainly not a bad result to have in the back pocket. But Space Soldiers have just got so many wins on this map. They played it a couple of times at the Minor, they found success there against Optic and Envy, and overall, it's really hard to beat Space Soldiers on Cash. So if AVANGAR do win here, I'll be massively impressed, but certainly expecting the Turks to be able to take us to a third map.
Yeah, but we will now be getting live into this pistol round. It is actually going to be on the AVANGAR side, just 5 sets of Kevlar. They're not going to be investing into any utility at all. Engine gets the defuse kit for Space Soldiers to work with, as right now it looks like AVANGAR are just going to be making their way immediately towards this A-bomb site, and if they go in towards A main, it could be a bit of a problem. We see currently Paz and Xantares, they were aggressive. They aren't anymore. They have begun to now just fall back off and just leave Xantares in this position instead. But that means that he could be in trouble. We see with a couple players in the door, a couple players about to come from A main, he may get overwhelmed. He's not going to be able to spin around fast enough perhaps and be able to take multiple kills in this position. So it could get dangerous. But over towards mid, where the first contact will be found. Paz, not really going to be able to find too much. He gets dinked down and he will just fall back off. And Xantares, as mentioned, even if being able to find one, he will be traded back by JM from the door. And now on a 4-on-4, the A-bomb site is going to be under the control of AVANGAR.
Oh, Calix, very quick with the flick up to the face of Prison. Then he's going to come in to assist his teammate. And a couple of quick kills for AVANGAR swing things back into their favor. Having said that, Engine gets a kill back, but he's going to get double peaked. Still no frags coming in. Damage done either way. And Buster hunting down the kill is going to get traded on. So it's back to a 1v1. James trying to play patiently. Major, I think, is getting the defuse kit, but he's taken a lot of time in doing so. Now the flash comes in, but James could just play the time. There's such little left. James just waiting patiently. Here's the steps, gets the frag. And I don't know if going for the kit there was the right call from Major. It did take a lot of time to get over to that position, and that allows AVANGAR to take the first pistol, thanks to a triple kill.
Yeah, that wasn't really the best situation. AVANGAR in a good position now. They go for a pretty safe buy into this one. They go for, I was going to say 3 rifles, but James also going to go ahead and get that Galileo. So they know what damage can be done by Space Soldiers with these pistols. They know that they have very skilled players, and they're just going to make sure that they have the best weaponry available. As right now, Paz, he will be the only one really looking to try and go aggressive at all. He was originally getting up close to A main. It looks like he will instead just decide to fall back off, and now AVANGAR, obviously they will try and focus at least some presence towards middle. Kickart in a really good position here. Right now, no one from the CT side is actually going to be over towards mid, so this should be taken for free by AVANGAR, and that's going to put them in a really good position and to have the option to split towards either bomb site. And it's just going to make it so much more difficult for these pistols to try and hold. Because right now, as they make their way into A main, Xanthar holding a very tight angle with the Deagle, and space is a little bit wider. He's not actually going to be able to get too much done. He gets some damage at least. It does go slightly in his favour, but AVANGAR still, it's going to go back actually as the nade touches down onto Paz and drops him to 47 points of HP. So AVANGAR now, just about a minute remaining, and they'll have to make a decision soon, and it seems like one has been made. They will make their way towards B, and it's actually just going to be all up to Calyx currently to try and hold this one down.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Kevlar. It shouldn't be a massive difference, though, as he just loses his head. Demasik taps that one off, and Major dishes out a little bit of damage through the smoke, but nowhere near enough to really give Space Soldiers a good chance on this retake. You see the bomb has already gone down. Major goes through the smoke. The flashbang didn't work, but it forced Buster to turn his back, so it allowed one kill to come in. Either way, AVANGAR still have the man advantage, and you can already see Space Soldiers just electing to fall back and save what they can. Certainly not a bad call at this point, but Engine, taken down very low, nearly loses his 5-7, but just about sneaks away. So Space Soldiers look good to save 3 guns at the very least, but they certainly are going to have to concede the round. Having said that, they could get the chance to do a little bit of damage into the next one. That's, I guess, what they will be aiming for.
Yeah, at least they have something to work with. If they didn't save these, they would be likely just on USPs. So they have a couple pistols, a few players with Kevlar also to try and actually get something done into this one. So at least they'll be able to try and cause some more damage. They didn't really get much found in the previous round. And AVANGAR now, they'll be happy with that. They just get 1 Mach 10 into this round. James looking to try and build up some bank with this, of course. He is the operator, wants to try and get himself that extra money, as he is just going to be making his way over towards the A main position, it seems, at the moment. Perhaps could go up on top of the boost, but it seems like for now, actually, yeah, indeed, he may just join his teammate in A main, and Kickart leading the way with this AK. Let's see what he's going to be able to find. Swapped out the shoulder of Xanthar. Some damage is found at least, but he's not aware of how many players are actually on this A bomb site, and it's actually currently going to be 3. So if they try and push out, perhaps Space Soldiers could find themselves a couple of kills out of this one.
Yeah, Xanthar does have the Deeg, but he also only has 25 points of health from the early damage inflicted on towards him. Having said that, Xanthar gets a double! Oh, that was very, very quick. The Deeg not finding the headshots, but the body shots will do. Demasik eventually gets a kill back. But that means that AVANGAR do have to overcome the man disadvantage. Having said that, the B site is fairly open. And as Major goes down, that will allow the bomb to make its way forwards. And Demasik continues to clean things up. Really important round coming in from him there. He gets himself a triple, and Calyx, the only man left, will likely fall down. There it is. Demasik gets all 4 kills and really saves the round for AVANGAR. But Space Soldiers now have a buy, so with Calyx having the AWP, interestingly enough, this certainly won't be easy for AVANGAR.
Yeah, Calyx, not really always the first option for the AWP on the Space Soldiers side, but he's certainly capable. It's more about the fact that he's also one of their best riflers, so most of the time they would rather keep him on that weapon. But if he's able to get it out now and the other players aren't, why not? Let's see what he decides to do with this one, as right now he is going to be just the sole B defender, like looking to try and take maybe a bit of a more aggressive stance so he can find a kill and fall back off once he spots out any players making their way in this direction. He will have Major now to try and support from the vents and also make sure that he's going to be able to help out mid. And it looks like AVANGAR are going to favour towards B. Calyx, though, Opens that up with a nice shot into James. As now AVANGAR down by one man. They will be halted at least in their attempt to push forward for the moment, as they are just going to be left holding in the back of B main, waiting to see what happens. And finally it looks like they will try to move forward, and they should at least be able to get themselves a decent amount of control. But still, having that player in Vent is such a good position for Major, as long as he's able to take at least 1 or 2 kills. For Calix, he's connected actually, now back towards his back box. It's going to get difficult, but he's hitting the shots. He steps it up massively, and as Major looks to do so, as he gets himself at least 1 and a second. Missing the last man standing will at least find the trade, but now he's left to try and clutch out the 1-on-4. That's 3, as he did at least get the first one. Does almost line them up, but the C's dead. Come out in time, and it is going to be Space Soldiers claiming that first gun round.
Yeah, nice work there towards the B bomb site from Calix. I was going to say, I do actually remember in the past, Space Soldiers seem to like on cash, Calix orping towards B on the CT side. I think this is somewhat of a map dependent thing, because quite often he will be alone towards B to start the round. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen in a fair few rounds for Space Soldiers here. That seems like a little bit of a switch up they like to go with on cash. Either way, they get their first round on the board, and now that means neither side really has that much money built up. So the loser of this round will likely be forced down to a low buy. That makes this round all the more important at the early stages, just to sort of dictate how the economy game is going to work, who's going to have the control. Nice little boost there for Jane, but he's not going to spot anyone out in towards checkers, because Calix is playing all the way back from heaven. That is a little bit of a risk. He does have Major to assist him in towards vents. However, if the push were to come in, Calix could quite easily be mollied out of this position. So it might be an issue if the B play comes out from AVANGAR, but with 58 seconds left on the clock, it's yet to be seen which side of the map AVANGAR will go towards.
Yeah, they still have quite a lot of time to work with. Well, not really a lot. They still have just about 50 seconds remaining. It has now begun to deplete a little bit, but they will make the decision. They will try and go over towards A, where right now there's actually a very solid setup for Space Soldiers. They have 2 players to try and support. They have a player towards Highway, 1 in forklifts and 1 on the bomb site. As Kicker is going to be able to open that up. Xantar is win a single kill, so Paz now is going to be the man that's required to get the work done. But Engine, he finds at least 1. Paz lines them up and gets the spray down, but it will be returned again by AVANGAR, who are able to reclaim that man advantage. And Deem is sick. He steps it up and hits the headshot, redeeming himself for that previous map. As AVANGAR come in with the reset of the economy for Space Soldiers, and they're going to be really struggling to buy now into this one.
Yeah, and on the Space Soldiers side of thing, 1 eco may be enough to get a somewhat good buy, but Xantares with only $1,400 could be one of the players that struggles to get that full buy together. Either way, while Space Soldiers have a fairly hard eco, I'm going to take this chance to quickly talk about our giveaway and give you all the info you need. If you subscribe here to our channel on Twitch here at eFrag, you get the chance to win a Flip Knife Blue Steel Field Tested. That will be drawn on Sunday after the grand finals of this tournament. And it also helps us out. So make sure to subscribe if you want a chance to win that Flip Knife Blue Steel. And other than that, back into the round. A dink did come in on towards Jame, but no kills yet for Space Soldiers, as you would expect on the hard eco.
Yeah, nothing really going to be found. I don't even know if it's worth for them. It's definitely not worth for AVANGAR at least hunt, but I don't know if it's worth for Space Soldiers to even bother going for this. I know they have nothing to save, but of course every kill found by AVANGAR is a bit of extra economy. If it's the UMP, they get an extra 600 per kill. If it's the AK's 300 per kill, the op won't really be too big of a deal if James gets a couple, and he definitely won't really be looking for any, but I just don't think Space Soldiers in this round have any chance of even being able to get any damage done. So likely going to be AVANGAR picking up a very clean anti-eco round rather, as Demisic hits another headshot onto Xantares, and now it's just going to be Engine and Calix that remain. And just up on the A-bomb side, you see they're not really looking to push forward. They are just looking to maybe try and deny that bit of extra economy for AVANGAR.
So Space Soldiers should get a buy up into the next round. But as I was saying, Xantares might not be able to get a rifle. And that's kind of an issue for Space Soldiers. I was going to say in the pregame, I think Xantares is really the main man to watch, especially because he had a somewhat quiet first map. Here on Cash, I think this is a map he's much more suited to, so I'd like to see him lead the way for Space Soldiers. However, he's going to have to do so with just a UMP in this round, which is a little bit unfortunate. It's also worth pointing out, Space Soldiers do have the AWP again for Calix, at the cost of not getting a single defuse kit, and also with limited nades in this round, so it's certainly not the best of buys for Space Soldiers. However, they certainly still have the chance to do some damage with it. And I think Demasic there may have been spammed through the garage early on, down a little bit lower on 57 HP. And in the meantime, Xantares with the UMP is going to get boosted up. That's a little bit of a strange decision, in my opinion, because it's quite difficult to be able to get that push going without being heard. I guess he's going to try and get in towards A main if he can get the timing right and find the flank up close. But it's going to be difficult for that to win the fight. But there goes Buster, spotting out Major in towards Checkers. That's a good opening. The Engine has rotated over. There's still 2 players on towards this B site. And Engine's going to double down from Heaven.
Yeah, great work by Engine, and it was actually him who was able to get that spam I believe early on into the round. So, doing a really good job into this one. Space Soldiers, they need this gun round. Maybe a bit of a mistake there by Xantares on that flank to get taken down, but you can't really discredit Jamie. He hit a great shot, and it seems like with Paz finding the kill onto Crizzen, it should still go in favor of Space Soldiers unless Jamie is able to pull off a miraculous clutch. And as you see, that won't be possible. Even with the flash working perfectly, Paz just pre-firing that angle will be able to find it. And Space Soldiers get themselves a second round. But AVANGAR, they can buy once again. They will be investing everything into this one, so if Space Soldiers manage to get themselves a second round here in a row, they will likely be able to break the economy of AVANGAR. But it is going to be very similar vice versa. If AVANGAR take this one, Space Soldiers, they will be reset once again.
Yeah, I was wondering if Paz was going to save that second AWP there, but he decided against it. They just want to stick with Calyx AWPing, as he has been so often towards that B site. And this time around, he may be tested with that AWP, because AVANGAR, the Kazakh lineup, look to be leaning over towards B with most of their players. Push is going to come in, but Calyx gets quite an easy first kill, and there comes the second. No smoke for CT allows him to open up. And now the rotation has come in. Engine also in towards Checkers. And Space Soldiers just pick apart the push. Buster might get a chance for a frag. There's the first headshot. That in comes the trade. And it will be Space Soldiers locking down the B site, thanks in part to Calyx's AWP.
Yeah, really nice hold there, and it should now be just an eco by AVANGAR. Yeah, you said pick apart the push there. Just try and say that over and over again. When you said it, I realized how difficult that actually is to say. Pick apart the push, pick apart the push. If you just keep saying it over and over again, you're definitely going to stumble on your words. I just thought it was a new tongue twister that you may have found. But yeah, this should be an easy enough round by Space Soldiers. We shouldn't really see them have any trouble at all with this one. AVANGAR, of course, only having pistols, not having any Kevlar and 1 smoke. Their goal right now is just try and get the bomb planted on the A bomb site, and there certainly is a chance, especially since currently Space Soldiers are going to be playing this retake setup. We see Xantares up on Catwalk, we see Paz over towards the truck, and now AVANGAR getting a move on. Not really going to be starting well in their favour, as Xantares is going to be able to find 2 kills, one of those being through the smoke, and now Demasic and Kicker are going to be the last 2 standing, and like that only 1 now, as it will be all 5 players remaining alive for Space Soldiers.
And a 4K for Xantares. Even though it was only up against the pistols, good to see him find some early form, because again, he was actually bottom fragging before this round for Space Soldiers, which isn't something you see too often. Either way, heading back into round 10, AVANGAR do have a buy. It's a little bit lackluster in terms of nades, but they have got the 5 AKs at the very least. And it's also worth pointing out on the Space Soldiers side of things. I know I've been talking up Xantares, but they certainly have a lot of depth on this lineup in terms of Calyx and Paz, 2 players that can also certainly have massive maps on their day. So don't have to only rely on Xantares, but generally he is very consistent for Space Soldiers as a sort of above average player. Either way, not really coming through yet, but we'll get to see if he can step things up, because there's still plenty of time for him to do the damage. In this round, surprisingly, Space Soldiers don't have too much mid presence. Engine is over in towards Highway, so he may have to fall back, but Xantares tries to get flashed through the smoke, but it was a really nice timing from Kicker to dodge that flash. And AVANGAR already get 2 and now 3 entries. Demasic winning that duel out towards mid, and that might just be the round over and done with.
Yeah, it should be, certainly, as Paz and Calyx are left to try and clutch this one out, and they couldn't really be further away from each other, so 0 chance of a trade. We should see AVANGAR been able to pick this one up easily enough. Perhaps a couple of kills could be found for Space Soldiers, and at least try and keep the economy modest for AVANGAR, but with a 5-on-2 right now, it's looking basically impossible, and especially with Paz falling, as Calyx in a 1-on-5 has the AWP, and I don't think he'll be looking at all to try and go for this one. Should be just trying to save this, but I don't think that's even going to be easy, as AVANGAR now aware of this position. Kicker, he finds that headshot and is going to be able to pick up the AWP now to drop over to Jame in the following round.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Space Soldiers maybe switch things up with that AWP a little bit more often, because Calyx literally every single round has gone with the AWP over towards B, and that kind of makes it easy for AVANGAR to gain mid control. They know they're very unlikely to be running into an AWP, and again, Calyx is going to go out towards the B bomb site. So I think I'd just like to see a little bit of sort of adaptation from Space Soldiers, a little bit of a switch up every now and then, because this is coming quite predictable. Having said that, this isn't predictable from Calyx, this time holding a gap in the smoke, but he doesn't get the shot. And that allows Buster to capitalize with the spray through the smoke for the opening kill. He drops Calyx out of the round. Maybe that was Calyx getting a little bit sort of aggressive because last round they lost A so quickly. He wanted to get it done towards B, and it doesn't work out. Space Soldiers again go down a man.
Yeah, not really the ideal start into this one. AVANGAR get themselves into a good position once again, but that's a nice find. They are at least going to be able to return that one. Oh. Apologies, my game actually just froze there for a moment, so I couldn't actually tell what was going on. But Kicker finds one over towards middle. Paz going to be able to trade that back now, and may be able to find more, but he actually peeks directly into the crosshair of Jame, allowing for that kill to be returned once again, and also now for the bomb to make its way on towards the A bomb site. Place nade will at least connect some damage, but it's going to be left up to Xanthar as an engine and a retake that's not really going to be very easy. They have been damaged up, they have a Molotov and a flash available, but James, he's in a good position. He'll be able to drop engine with ease, and now Xanthar is going to be the last man left standing. If you wanted anyone from Space Soldiers in this position, most people rather would choose Xanthar, but with low HP and 2 more players to find, it's going to be extremely difficult, and James just posted up, will actually be taken down. Xanthar is not aware of the final player's position, as Prison just playing for the time, as he is going to be an A main. And a great spot now, as he should be peeking any moment and should be able to find this kill quite easily. And there you go, AVANGAR get themselves up to 7. Nice try on the retake for sure, but it just wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah, a couple of excellent kills from Xanthar still aren't enough. He didn't have anywhere near enough time at the end of the round. And that means that AVANGAR again have the chance to extend their lead further. And this is starting to get somewhat worrying here for Space Soldiers. I said that they're going to be pretty heavy favorites heading into Cash. However, at the same time, I also did point out AVANGAR is certainly a solid Cash team. I mean, it is a bit more towards the middle of their map pool, but they certainly have a lot of skill players on their side of things. You don't really ever look to, I think, one player for AVANGAR because they're quite a sort of skill... I'd say the skill is spread between their lineup, if you like. So that means that, you know, no one necessarily stands out for AVANGAR, but they're still a very dangerous team on open maps like Cash. And we get to see that come through in spades here. Already a 7-4 lead. I guess the 2 players that I think have stepped up in this qualifier so far would be Jame and Buster. But here we go. Paz taken down low early on. We are going to see him try to fall back. However, he may be cut off over towards Squeaky. He's the only player over towards A, so this should be quite easy. And that Molotov, I don't know if the door was open, but it's going to get the kill. Xanthar, though, with the D, gets one back. There is still a smoke for Buster to deploy, so that should work. 40 seconds left, and AVANGAR look to claim the site, and Jame will get that opening kill, but the rotation has come in. Doesn't seem like any kills will come out, though. Here comes the P250 to close the round, and unfortunately for Space Soldiers, even though they get back to the A site, they don't really find any frags.
Yeah, not really much to be found there by Space Soldiers. AVANGAR, they are going to have now at least a gun round to face off against finally. Space Soldiers able to get out everything they want. They have also a lot of utility, but Calyx this time not going to go for the op, which I think may actually be the correct decision. He hasn't been really having a good performance with it so far in this game. Only 6-9. He's not the bottom of the scoreboard, but he's not really towards the top either, as he's definitely very valuable on this M4 to try and lock down the bomb sites. As right now, AVANGAR just splitting up for a default, it seems. They are just going to be spreading quite far across the map. Paz is going to be the one to actually open it up onto Kickart, but luckily enough, the trade is going to be found by Prison. Major is going to fall, and then the boost coming in also by the CT side. They have, or rather, the player up in Vent. He is going to be able to hold down mid if the T's look to try and eventually take some control. That's Engine just there to support Calyx if needed. There's still quite a lot of time in this round right now. AVANGAR not really in a rush to make a decision in the 4-on-4. They'll be happy with this. Also, the HP is going to be slightly in their favor, as Paz is tagged down to 21 previously in the round, And it looks like they will just go for a split towards this A bomb site. They have one player in mid, Demasic. He's pushed up towards the white box, and they'll be able to try and crunch his way in from highway. So Engine, let's see if he's going to be able to find anything. He does push forward and does actually manage to successfully get that kill for himself. And that's going to be one avenue of attack now shut down for a AVANGAR, as all three players are going to come from A main. But look at this, Xantares. He gets aggressive along with a flash. And that allows for at least one kill to be found, and a Molotov to go down to delay this push even further.
37 seconds left. The time shouldn't be a massive issue, but the trades will be, because Krizen now is the only man left. He's so low on health. The Engine is always going to win that fight. And Space Soldiers get up to their 5th round on the board. Having said that, AVANGAR have been pretty much in control of this map for the most part in terms of the money, and that is proven here. They still get a strong buy, whereas Space Soldiers might have a couple of players forced down to a few missing nades. Nothing massive, though, in terms of issues in their buy. And here we go, round 14. The loser of this one will have very little money for the last round and a half. So you could argue this round almost counts as 2, and Paz gets flashed into A main. Such incredible aggression coming out, but it does work well. They get the first kill, and Paz can now fall back with the incendiary up, but oh no, it hasn't gone far enough. That allows James to sit back behind the flames and get the trade. A little unfortunate for Paz there. The incendiary not quite well placed enough, and it's just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, that trade though will be usually favouring AVANGAR. It does usually favour the T side when they're able to bring it down to a 4-on-4. They should be at least moderately happy with being able to get that one kill out of it. As now, let's see what they decide to go for later in this round. But actually, they immediately go for the boost up towards mid. Krizen, he'll be able to drop Engine, who is snugly packed in there towards the sandbags, but not able to really get anything done from that position. And now with a one-man disadvantage, Space Soldiers, they're spread so thinly across the map. One player towards A, one on B, and it's actually just going to be Calix playing quite passively in towards CT, waiting to see if anyone tries to come up through connector. And just AVANGAR now in a really good position. If they regroup and hit one of these bomb sites together, as long as they find that trade, as long as no one steps it up massively from Space Soldiers, we should see them being able to take this round for themselves and increase the lead even further. But I like this, Space Soldiers, they're taking a bit of a gamble. It may be the correct decision, even with some presence being shown towards B. They do look to go back towards the A bomb site, and that's where the bomb currently is going to be. 18 seconds there remains. Calix, let's see if he's going to be able to get anything done. Also has Xantares above to try and support, but a nice pop flash will for the moment at least blind them up. Xantares finds one, Calix finds the trade successfully, and now it's the 2-on-2, which goes back in favour of the D side, but there's no time, but it doesn't matter. Krizen takes down Major, and a bit of a mistake perhaps by Space Soldiers to even peek.
Yeah, I think one of the kills happened in the midst of the smoke, so that's kind of just nothing Space Soldiers can do about that one. But the second player was fighting out towards A main there, and that allowed AVANGAR to take yet another round. And as I was saying earlier, that means that heading into the last round of the half, Space Soldiers have a very limited buy, at least in terms of weaponry. It's only really pistols to play with. They have got the Deags, so they can afford to fight at long range, and Paz nearly gets the chance to pull the trigger, but James manages to spot him out with the AWP for the first kill. Molotov going to go out. The mid presence should go the way of AVANGAR, and it won't be too difficult for them to close this one out unless some incredible shots are landed. Calix is looking like he wants to get into a fight, but that smoke will deny him. So AVANGAR just hold on to the man advantage. By the looks of things now, group up towards A, with Kickert getting the bomb back to go towards that A side of the map.
Oh, nice shot by Xantares though, takes down JM, and that's a pretty decent start. Oh my god, Xantares able to take down Demasic. If he wins this one against Krizen, it could get dangerous. The jump by Krizen, he will eventually be able to take himself that kill either way. 3-on-3, it's looking a bit scary, but Krizen, he'll be stepping it up now to make sure that this round will go back in favour of AVANGAR as they get control of the A-bomb site. They should be able to get this plant down with ease, and now in a 2-on-2 retake with only pistols and low HP on the Major, Space Soldiers, they're going to be struggling to take this one. It is, of course, the final round of this half, and with Major finding that kill coming in on the flank, it's looking likely Buster now going to be the last man standing left to try and clutch this one out. The AK in the hands of Major, he is low HP, and Calix only with a deagle to work with, so Buster, let's see if he's going to be able to find this. If he can force the one-on-one, it's looking likely. He gets the first, but he will be caught off guard. It doesn't matter. He spins back and gets the kill onto Calix, and AVANGAR, they make their way into double digits in this first half.
Oh, AVANGAR managed to get that round at the end by the skin of their teeth. 20 HP at the end for Buster. And Calix came quite close with the Desert Eagle. I think he landed only the one shot though. So That meant that there was just about enough time for Buster to go for the spray down. Didn't exactly feel convincing, but AVANGAR will be very, very happy with just getting 10 rounds on the boards. And now, at this point, Space Soldiers, they really do need to win this pistol round. Remember, if they lose this map, their Katowice dreams are dead. And they are going to need to make sure they don't fall too far behind here. So this pistol round is huge now for Space Soldiers. They are going to get the P250 for Xantares, and he was starting to look a little bit more on point as that half played out. 15 kills at the end, so with that P250, we'll get to see if he can find some longer range headshots to start the round. As Space Soldiers look to, by the looks of things, go for some mid-presence. One player boosted up, Xantares in towards Garage, and for the time being, AVANGAR have 3 players stacked towards B.
Yeah, and just playing this A retake setup, it is something that you very commonly see on Cash, and just putting one player at the truck. Usually that player will have the kit, but it's actually going to be Jame right now. He's over towards Connector instead. I guess Kickart wanting that Kevlar to work with. The only problem is if a player comes out door, they can usually get onto the site for free, and with Major finding that kill on mid, being able to claim himself a USP, and also drop the defuse kit, this could get difficult, as the A-bomb site is now just going to be completely swarmed by terrorists, and it's going to be up to the player from Cart to try and get 1 or 2 kills out of this to give a bit of an easier chance in the retake. And through the smoke, he actually connects the dink. The USP at that range brings Xantares down to 1 HP, but it's Major now once again to step it up massively. He continues to take the fight towards Connector, and it's going in his favour, as he is just shutting this one down. Engine with the Glock getting up close. We'll be able to find that kill with the 3-round burst, and now Demasik is the last man left standing. They are going to be hunting him down, which could be a mistake. Chance will be found, but Xantares, he trades that back from middle with the P250. And Space Soldiers, they take a much-needed pistol round.
Yeah, I could absolutely feel Xantares' pain as he got dinked through that smoke down to 1 HP. But I guess the only sort of benefit or positive he can take from it is that the USP didn't fully finish him off, managing to, at the very least, stay alive, and the rest of the teammates managed to get the job done for him. So even though the P250 didn't do too much, it was the rest of the Glocks to get the damage done. Now Space Soldiers just need to make sure that they don't lose against this buy from AVANGAR here, because they have gone for the force buy as you would expect. Jame has a scout in hand, which is somewhat surprising. He might have wanted to save for that AWP early, and he still has $800 in the bank. So may be able to do so, although it is a little bit debatable as to whether he could afford that AWP. Either way, AVANGAR have got the 4A stack right now. The flash in towards A main looking good, but don't get the kills to follow up. I think the CZs there just didn't have enough ammo to get the full spray down in, and it looks as though Space Soldiers should be able to take the site. Buster gets the 1 kill, nearly the second, but not going to connect. Space Soldiers do close out the round win convincingly.
Yeah, as expected. It'll now just be a full eco coming in from the Kazakhstan side, and the money that they have left over, it's not really amazing. Jame, you see, he actually has 2,700. He will be getting 2,400 on top of that, so if he wants to get the off, he will be most likely just going glass cannon, which won't really be ideal. But into this one now, let's see if they'll be able to at least get anything done. While we have a moment, I am going to go ahead and tell everyone that there is a giveaway being done on this channel. It will be a giveaway for a Flip Knife Blue Steel, and it will be given away on Sunday after the grand finals of this tournament, and it will be for subs. So if you want to go ahead and get yourself in with a chance to try and win that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And also it does, of course, help support eFrag to bring you more content like this in the future, as it will now be towards middle. A bit of a stack coming in on highway by the CT side, which maybe could find some damage. But as I say that, with terrorists making their way onto A, Calix finds a couple. It's at least going to be found for AVANGAR, but should be closed out now by Xantares, as he eventually manages to tap that head away from Kickard.
Yeah, now AVANGAR could go for the AWP on towards Jame in this buy. However, he would have to skimp on the Kevlar and only get 1 or 2 nades. He decides it is worth the risk, though. So James going to go for the AWP and the smoke. And here we go. AVANGAR back up to a buy. Space Soldiers have some money built up, but their balance books aren't looking perfect. And AVANGAR, on the gun round, again are going to stack 3 players towards B. It's certainly easier to retake the A site, but this is still somewhat of a risk, because right now, if Space Soldiers went for this quick A push, they would likely be able to gain control of the site without too much of a defense. You can see now Kicker playing all the way back from truck. This could get a little bit dicey for AVANGAR if they continue to stick 3 players towards B in this round. And you can already see, I mean, right now, A is completely exposed because Jame is coming over with the AWP. However, it's unlikely he's going to be able to get anything done. If they go for the A push here, Space Soldiers will likely just smoke him off. And I don't know if AVANGAR can get this done. Again, playing a very passive retake setup.
Yeah, it's going to be perhaps up to a bit of luck there for Jame to maybe try and find one kill through the smoke as they do cross. As it's looking extremely likely for this hit to come in towards A. We do see also Major in towards mid, and if he's taken down perhaps a decent position for AVANGAR, being able to claim the one-man advantage. And there you go, Kickert, he gets that kill. 5 on 4, that's providing Prison doesn't get taken down, and never mind, Jame able to drop Xantares, and the bomb will be denied. Prison pushing forward, doing a great job, will eventually fall, but he's done his role indeed as Paz and Calyx return it, but it's going to be Paz left to try and flush this one out, and Kickert above the box is going to be able to take him down. And AVANGAR, you mentioned that was going to be very difficult, but when you're able to get that opening kill on mid and kind of make the terrorists panic a little bit, I guess they felt they were kind of forced to commit into the bomb site then, and AVANGAR just capitalized on that and were able to win out the aim jolts.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see just how willing AVANGAR are to play these retake setups, even on multiple maps. But if they can get their retakes sort of to work out most of the time, then there's no reason not to. And that time around, the retake worked very, very well. And having that man advantage, as you were saying, certainly makes a big difference in terms of that. Jame also managed to get a kill over towards Forklift. I think it may have been through the smoke. I wasn't exactly sure, but Xantares was taken down, so that clearly made a big difference. And Jame will be looking for even further success on the AWP because he is going out towards mid. Space Soldiers have a fair few players boosted up, and Jame holding doesn't connect. He gets chunked down to 14 HP, but at the very least gets away with his life.
Paz, going to be able to take down Demasic though. Talking in terms of the HP, and Calyx actually drops Kickert up on top of the boost and gets himself another onto Jame. AVANGAR, this round is just completely falling apart, and it's not looking to improve at all as Xantares takes himself another, or rather takes himself a first into this round, another for Space Soldiers, and now it's just going to be up the Buster to try and clutch this one out. Gets the first headshot, with 4 more players to find and only 22 points of HP to do so. This should now be the round in favour of Space Soldiers, even with the bomb yet to be planted. It would be a bit of a miracle if we somehow saw Buster pulling this one off. But for now, he is just going to be around mid. It seems like Space Soldiers are happy enough with perhaps even hunting for this one. They don't want to allow this AK to be saved into the following round, and let's see if he's going to be found. Xantares just creeping forward. We'll check the corner, and we'll also find the kill. So Space Soldiers get themselves up to 9. AVANGAR taking that one round previously, but doing so only 3 players alive means that after reinvesting, they don't have a lot of economy left now. So they have been reset. They will be facing an eco. Prison even looking towards a double eco, as it's not a good position for AVANGAR. Space Soldiers now in a good spot to maybe even try and equalise the scoreline.
Yeah, well, Overpass was incredibly close. That went the distance, all the way to 30 rounds. And it was AVANGAR who just about closed it out 16-14. It looks like this map could also be a very, very close one. Space Soldiers looking likely to be able to take us back to a very, very close scoreline. And AVANGAR, as you were saying, with just a full eco here, do decide to take a gamble. Certainly what I would expect. When you only have the default pistols, I think it's absolutely worth taking a risk. And Demasic has pushed into a main, but yeah, even with the dink, Xantares will take him down. It's always frustrating when you get the dink with the USP, because you know maybe if you'd have bought a Deeg or a P250, there's a better chance of you getting the kill. That doesn't happen this time around. Having said that, that might bait the push in towards this A site here, and AVANGAR do have the 5-man stack, the 4-man stack, now that one of their teammates has fallen. Having said that, though, yeah, the AKs just absolutely overwhelm A. Nothing to be done for AVANGAR.
Yeah, exactly as expected, though. I didn't really imagine that AVANGAR were going to be able to find much out of that round, and once again, as I said, it was looking to be a double eco for AVANGAR, and indeed it is going to be. There is a small investment, at least, into this round. They're able to get some pistols out. They're able to get Kevlar onto Demasic, but up against the full rifles from Space Soldiers, it should be the scoreline being equalised at 11-11. Unless some great plays are pulled off with these pistols, of course. But let's see what's going to be done. As right now, Space Soldiers, know that they're up against a weaker buy once again, or at least they should be aware that it is a possibility. They are just going to be holding the default, and AVANGAR taking a gamble themselves. They are going to be stacking towards the B bomb site. They did originally have Kickert up towards A, but it looks like he even will now begin to make his way back to join his teammates. The Space Soldiers not really putting too much presence over towards B, just that one player. Looks like they will try and maybe get some control towards middle, and when they've been doing this in the past, they've been favouring that A split, so that should allow them then to get that site for free, and I don't think much is really going to happen now for AVANGAR in this round once again.
Yeah, Space Soldiers will take their sweet, sweet time. However, eventually they are likely to bring that bomb over towards the A site. I don't really see a reason as to why they go back at this point. They have almost no presence up towards B, so there's no reason for them to go back there. There are loads of close angles they would have to deal with, and they will indeed now commit to the A site push. Fortunately for AVANGAR, the stack this time around, where they have a little more investment, isn't quite correct. Having said that, Major could get caught if he's not careful. Does go down, but Xantares has his back. Gets a couple of kills out towards mid, and a very quick third makes things look easy in this round. Only Jame left alive. And we'll get to see AVANGAR's buy into this next round, because remember, they did double eco here. So they will absolutely have a proper full buy into this upcoming round, but it is at the cost of allowing Space Soldiers to tie up the scoreline.
Yeah, 11-11 now. Of course, as you mentioned before, the previous map was also extremely close, so by no means is this going to be over. We saw Space Soldiers looking like they were in a position to get the comeback on the previous one also, and then AVANGAR just ended up closing that out. Thanks to a bit of help from Space Soldiers, of course, we saw a bit of a hectic round coming in where Calyx got a team kill, Paz actually took himself out, and AVANGAR somehow took that one, and that allowed the 16-14 scoreline. But in this one now, let's see which way it's going to go. The buy will be coming out for both sides. AVANGAR, they're actually going to be going for this double up setup. Buster usually takes this towards the B-bomb site. JM, he's a bit more versatile and can swap it up, but let's see where he's going to go ahead and take it, as looks like right now it will be towards mid, just positioning himself towards the connector perhaps, as Space Soldiers now. Let's see what they go for into this round. Will they keep this default, or will we see a bit of a faster paced round is the main question, as it looks like we could see something faster towards the A-bomb site, where once again AVANGAR, they aren't really putting a lot of their players over towards this side of the map. It's only really Kickered in position. As I say that though, actually, we will have a couple of players joining them. I guess some noise has been heard. Maybe Space Soldiers making their presence known. And it will be the execute now coming in rather. HP going to be going in favour of the CT side eventually. Demasic, he's going to be spraying them down. Doesn't get the turret, but Kickert will be the one to find it. Now Major trades that back once again. 2-on-2, HP slightly in favour of AVANGAR. He's up in the hands of Buster in a pretty good position, but as I say, that prison is going to get taken down, and now it's a 1-on-1. Xantares up against Buster. The bomb down in the open. The flash works though. It doesn't actually allow him to retrieve the bomb. He misses it. Tried to jump into position, and now it gets awkward. Buster, let's see if he's going to be able to find this one with the off. If he misses, he's in a very bad situation, but he won't do so. He will be able to connect that with ease, and AVANGAR reclaim their lead.
Oh, you got a feel for Xantares there. He did so well. He placed the flash perfectly. He tried to get the bomb and then just slightly messes up the movement. And he did it very quickly as well. That's why it was so impressive. But doesn't work out. Either way, AVANGAR only saved the one gun, so this buy is certainly weakened. They only get the one AWP this time around. And I think we do also have to point out, I said earlier I was looking for Xantares to step up for Space Soldiers on this map. He was a little bit quiet back on Overpass, and I was saying I think Cash will be a map where he can have much more success. That has clearly been proven. He is leading the way with 27 kills on Space Soldiers thus far. So Xantares certainly having a good time of things, but Space Soldiers still one round behind, even with that impressive performance. They're going to go for the mid-presence early, but Calyx gets caught off guard in towards A main. Kickert now can go aggressive, and this cuts off one side of the push. They were going to try and split towards A, but Kickert is going in the smoke. He does get caught out, so now Engine has A main control, but Jame is still towards the back of the site. The AWP might get spotted out, and Paz holds the angle. 2v3 quickly turned into a 1v3. Engine gets the first kill, and he does have a smoke, but he's so low on health here, it's going to be very difficult to clutch.
Yeah, going to be very difficult indeed. There is still a Molotov available, but it doesn't look like they're going to use it. They will just try and push up together, ensure that the trade comes in, and they won't even need to do so. Buster able to find that kill with ease, of course, with already that player being quite heavily tagged up. So AVANGAR getting themselves a second round in a row, taking this lead 13-11, and this map looking a bit similar to the previous. Space Soldiers, they get so close on the comeback, and then AVANGAR are able to reclaim control once again. This time it's thanks to their own play, as they have just stepped it up over these past couple of rounds, but Space Soldiers, they still have economy. They were able to build that up quite strong, so it's not going to be AVANGAR yet taking full control, and with surviving on only 2 players, they are going to be struggling maybe to get the perfect buyout into this one. Demasic once again relegated to the FAMAS, but other than that, it is a pretty solid one, and no up for Space Soldiers right now.
Yeah, they could have gone for one. Engine still has $4,750 left in the bank. Either way, we might be seeing some action in towards B, because AVANGAR have plenty of players stacked here. They go for the aggression, but Engine finds a double spray down. thanks to the well-placed flash. Jame is still here. He gets the first shot. And that is going to stop the push out towards B. But in the meantime, Xantares finds one frag towards mid. However, he is caught off guard by Kickert. So a very, very frantic start to the round. Goes back to a 2v2. However, Kickert is playing very passively. He's back towards Truck. And in fact, he's just going to straight up concede the ace site by the looks of things, especially with that smoke coming in.
Yeah, looks like it is just going to be a retake now that'll have to come in. Kickert, he's actually was originally facing this. Calyx, after spotting him out, decides to just spam through the smoke. That works in his favor as he gets himself that kill quite easily. So Paz now going to be, or rather, not Paz, Jame going to be the last man standing up against Paz and Calyx. And it's going to be a difficult retake, especially with the up, with no defuse kit. Looking likely that Space Soldiers may be able to get themselves this round and break the economy of AVANGAR. So Jame going to just go ahead and back off, try and save this. And I think they're actually going to be looking towards the double eco in the upcoming round. So Space Soldiers getting themselves back into a really solid position right now, late into this half.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, even though Space Soldiers were quite big favorites in this series, and they haven't really been able to take any convincing maps yet, I don't think it's due to them playing poorly. I think AVANGAR have just stepped up really quite well, especially here on Cash. I mean, Xantares is still going off, and this map is still very close. But as you were saying, AVANGAR in a pretty poor position in terms of their economy. We'll get to see what their sort of money will be like for the next round. However, as you were saying as well, they don't have that losing bonus built up, so it's a really, really tough spot for AVANGAR to be in. They will be hoping that Jame can have a miraculous performance with the AWP and win them this round, but I don't know how likely that is. They are going to line him up for the flash peek in towards A main, but there is no one from Space Soldiers there. They have currently got 4 players leaning towards B. There are the pistols towards the B site for AVANGAR though, so they could potentially play some close angles and maybe find some frags. And the push comes through the smoke, so Demasic is going to get a kill. The frags do come through for AVANGAR. It's still back to a 3 versus 4, but Space Soldiers need to find these frags quickly because Jame is here with the AWP, and he's going to get that frag. 3v2 for AVANGAR now.
Yeah, still Buster in the back of the bomb site. Also, only has the CZ available, of course. They should also be aware that he could be in this position, but Jame once again steps it up. Just as the smoke goes down, he will be able to find it. That means it's all going to be up to Xantares now, the man that is the one that you would want in this position. He gets the first kill. He's aware that Jame is towards CT, but will he be cautious of this flank now, as we do see Kickert actually wrapping around, and with those footsteps being heard, Jame now knows what's going on. He's going to be able to make his way back, or at least he should be able to. It seems like they are questioning the decision making, and because of that, perhaps a chance could be found. But Xantares is playing this as safe as possible. Knowing there's an up available, knowing it's possible that he could be positioned over towards the truck, he will instead go towards door, which should give him an easy access towards the bomb site. And the bomb being planted, just need to see both players of AVANGAR sticking together and ensuring that they can find this trade, as it will be the flank now coming in, and it doesn't matter. Kickert, he'll be able to take that one down with the Deagle. And AVANGAR, with what was basically a full eco, other than a couple of upgraded pistols on the op being saved, they're able to actually pull this one back. And now Space Soldiers, they are going to go down by 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's not awful for Space Soldiers in terms of their money, but they do now have a 2-round deficit they have to overcome. And considering how late we are into this second half, that is a considerable scoreline. At this point, a 2-round lead is certainly a decent one, and it looks as though it is Space Soldiers who have called for the pause here. I think they'll be kind of discussing maybe what they want to do in this upcoming round. I hope they're not talking about why that previous round went wrong, because there were certainly mistakes there from Space Soldiers. I don't think they should have pushed through the smoke, but that's not something they can dwell on at this point. They just have to look forward to this gun round. Still, certainly chances for them. And remember, it's a spot at IEM Katowice up for grabs in this qualifier, in these playoffs. And if Space Soldiers lose this map here, their Katowice chances will be completely gone. So they certainly need to pull their fingers out and make sure they don't lose this round. You can see the money on both teams as well. This round really means so much. Round 27 here could be the decisive one.
Yeah, certainly. They will be able to get a solid buyout on both sides. Of course, AVANGAR taking that previous one will put them in a really good position. Space Soldiers been able to get the AKs out. At least they have 5 rifles. They have also a lot of utility to work with, other than onto Major, who just puts a bit of presence towards B. Throws that cross smoke out so that Space Soldiers are at least showing that they could be just going for that default that we've seen in the past. But it looks like right now they will favour towards A, and Demasic, along with a great pop flash, will be able to get a double headshot spray down. Engine will return 1, but that's going to be it. Demasic stepping it up when it's needed for AVANGAR, as it's completely fallen apart. Space Soldiers are all down to Engine. He already has himself 1 kill into this round, but only 15 HP to try and clutch a 1-on-4. And he needs to get that ace clutch if he wants to be able to stop AVANGAR from being able to take map point and, of course, serious point.
Yeah, and AVANGAR seem to have a quite cool and somewhat unique style for their CT side. Oftentimes, they will just stack 3 players towards one side of the map early on. This time, it was literally 4 players all committed towards A. And obviously, when that stack sort of gets the right decision, gets the right call, you're almost certainly going to get the round win, and that works for them this time around. It's Dimasic with a quad kill. And I do think we also need to mention Dimasic. Remember, he had a really poor performance back on Overpass, and yet he has certainly stepped it up here on Cash, managing to reset himself for this second map. And AVANGAR now are on the verge of upsetting everyone. I was thinking AVANGAR have a chance in the series, but I was absolutely not expecting them to be able to take Cash, and they're looking good to be able to do so.
Oh yeah, extremely good and extremely plausible right now. As Space Soldiers, they still have a chance to try and bring this one back. It's only 3 rounds in a row that's needed for overtime. That is something that you see every single day playing CS. We've probably seen 3 rounds chained together so many times throughout this game. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times already teams have been able to claim 3 rounds in a row. So that's all Space Soldiers need. They can certainly do that. They don't have the best buy, but importantly, they do have Xantares with the AK in his hands, and he has been having a great game. Currently 29-17 on that scoreboard, leading, I believe, the entire server by quite a decent amount. 7 kills above Dimasic, who you pointed out. So let's see if they're going to be able to step it up now in this round. The Space Soldiers, once again, are going to be going for a bit of a default, with most of their presence focused over towards A main. Just going to be Major once again, at least showing some presence towards B, using a bit of utility, I believe that was. Or rather, that was actually Paz, my bad. But yeah, they are now going to be making their way back towards A, where AVANGAR, as you mentioned before, they're happy enough with just playing for these retakes. And so far, I guess you can't really fault them. It's worked a lot of the time. Let's see if it's going to work once again, as Space Soldiers, it looks like they will be getting a move on quite soon. They have that utility available. They have the smokes, flashes, and also a Molotov to try and clear out one of the positions on the bomb site. But right now, AVANGAR just hanging back and hoping to maybe try and take a couple of kills as the T's make their way onto the bomb site.
Here we go. It's now or never for Space Soldiers. The push is going to come in. AVANGAR again playing passively, but Kickert has got 1 kill through the smoke. So the bomb gets its way on towards the site. The bomb will now go down. And it is planted somewhat open, but Space Soldiers not going in towards A main just yet. Xantares is holding from Forklift with that 1 AK. But James here with the AWP might be favoured in this long-range fight. The Incendiary looks quite well placed. Xantares may be forced out. Indeed he is, but the counter flashes work really well to allow him to get to safety. Just as I say that, though, Buster's going to get a kill. AVANGAR fragging out. Its only engine left. He will fall, and AVANGAR have managed to pull it off. It's a 2-0 for AVANGAR in the series. And let's go back to the desk, because they're going to have to break that one down for us.
I would say this was probably one of the bigger upsets we kind of did not expect here in the studio of Farmskins. Of course, welcome to the analyst desk. And guys, I mean, what to say, we thought that Space Soldiers maybe have a chance of qualifying for IEM, but AVANGAR, a lot better than we thought. I mean, not to take anything away from them, they definitely looked kind of shaky in group stage, in Group B. But bringing